All right. So, in this special episode of Bonehead, we traveled all the way to a special land, a beautiful land, a land of milk and honey.
Where we both got stomach pains
from eating at this shitty restaurant that served.
Yeah, James, we know your cast iron stomach made of a bottomless black hole.
Hold on, real quick question before we go on, and I do want to talk about what this episode is going to be about because it is a very special episode. But now, when you all escaped
lupus,
yeah,
when you all were perhaps getting ready to escape your home planet of Wustron.
I knew this
did you have to share a escape pod, or did you each get your own?
We each got our own because we can't stand each other.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I would imagine that there's lots of pillows in those.
It's like Mick Jagger and
Keith
Richards.
Good Lord, you were just
bad. And I read Keith Richards' autobiography. It's over this, like 800 pages. I read the whole damn thing.
And I saw Pirates of the Caribbean 3.
Okay. Good for you.
3 or 2?
And the Stones are my favorite band. He's in both, I think. He's actually in the 4th one as well. So is
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp. Where they have their dressing rooms far apart. We're getting off topic.
Yeah.
We got sick at this restaurant, and I think it's Jared Greer's fault.
Yeah, I think it's Jared Greer's fault, too.
Because he didn't take me someplace nice.
And he didn't answer our text.
He didn't answer our text, so we were already done because he was busy. Oh, look at me. I run 3 businesses and have 14 cons.
I'm successful as shit.
Oh, my God. I don't know why he does this. I think it's a nervous tick because there's no money when he does it.
Hey, in all fairness, he's nothing but nice to us, which gets us to today's episode is an interview with
the Greers and
Part 2.
Right. Greers and the staff. Katrina, thank you so much for being there, Jamie. We're going to talk about Part 2. We're going to introduce everybody here in a few minutes as far as we go. As soon as we start. We went all the way up to Ashland and spent the day. We spent the day in Huntington and Ashland, and it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Because he owns comic stores in both Huntington.
Inner Geek in Ashland and in Huntington and in Lexington. Just go see the Inner Geek for all your geek needs.
You can also find them on eBay and a couple other places. I told him I'd make sure I mentioned that. They've always been fair with us.
The Greers have been nothing. And it always sounds like I'm kissing her ass, but it actually is true. They've been really great to us.
I got from this trip, I got a wonderful Meteor Man movie poster, Frankenweenie, and Police Academy 5, Miami Beach.
I can't believe I let you get that.
I can't believe you did either. It's fantastic.
I wish I owned that damn thing. That's my favorite Police Academy movie.
It's my favorite, too.
It's the best.
It is.
That one and the first one.
Oh, yep.
And they're all better than Super Troopers.
Well,
They are.
1, 2, and 5 are better than Super Troopers.
What? 4? We got Citizens on Patrol.
And it did give us House, but still Super Troopers is better.
Yeah. Anyway, moving right along. Back to the Greers. Always accommodating. They let us go into the store, shoot the episode. We got to hang out later, go through all the stuff so you guys be totes jelly. We went through the whole damn warehouse.
It was a nerd mecca of the highest degree.
Right, and we bought.
Actually, matter of fact, if you stick around
above us, that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you stick around to the end of the episode, you'll also find some other stuff that we will be doing with the Greers and Lexington Comic Con.
Oh, yeah, that's what we need to talk about. Really, before we say anything, September 7th is LexCon, right?
Yeah, it's a smaller version of the Lexington Comic and Toy Convention.
Not only will the Greers be there, but they'll also have the comic book men and a few other people. James O'Barr is going to be there.
Straczynski.
Yes, not JM, but
James.
We should have done a better job with that.
Who? Peter David?
That's another con. Stop. Just stop. There's going to be some one. Yeah, Steranko's going to be there.
You should have remembered Steranko. There's that great Steranko story.
Yeah, he does have a great.
They still have they have a stuh. They start with a stuh. Both y'all can bite my ass. Shiny metal ass.
When I'm done.
Pack me a box lunch.
But not only should you go there, spend all your money, and have a good time that day, what else should you do, gentlemen?
Come see our table.
Because the Greers hooked us up with a table. Bonehead is going to have its own table this fall fest at LexCon.
A whole table, which will probably contain a couple cheeseburgers, maybe some fries.
Are you going to bring cheeseburgers?
I thought you were going to bring them, you cheap
I
bastards.
didn't provide you. If I had 2 cheeseburgers, I'd eat them.
I know, and one of them's underneath his car seat. For 90
Absolutely.
days.
So we'll have a laptop up. You'll be able to sign up for Bonehead. You'll be able to get free stickers. Stop by, see us. We'll talk to you. We'll make fun of you. We will mock you needlessly because that's the type of people we are.
Right.
James, will you be there?
I don't know.
James,
You know, the only way they can find out if I'm there, though, Joe,
is if they go. If they go. Chad and I will definitely be there
Yes.
by hook or by crook.
I am that cat in the box that scientist was working on.
I may not be at the table.
Am I dead?
Why wouldn't you be at the table?
Because I might be spending my money on dork stuff.
No, you won't. I've met you.
Yeah, you're right.
You'll look at it and go, geez, I sure wish I'd have bought that 4 weeks later.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. Anyway, so go ahead, tune in. This is our talk with the Greers and the staff at Intergeek in Ashland. We had a great time. Thank you so much.
Yeah, talking about comics, talking about films, talking about what it's like to work in.
In a comment, yeah, we got some great stories about what it's actually like the day in and day out process of actually trying to keep not 1, not 2, but 3 comic book shops going at the same
15 conventions.
and 42 conventions and 108 Corvettes. He's probably rolling his eyes right now if he's listening or watching this.
Which he's not.
Which he's not because he never pays any attention to me.
Nope.
Why don't you love me, Jared? Why don't you look at me during? Anyway, start the show. Welcome to Bonehead. How are you guys? Let's go around and introduce everybody. So I'm Joe Lewis, which is nobody.
Wait, you gave nobody a chance to answer how they were doing. How were they?
Well, they didn't look
We're
very
pretty damn
interesting.
good, Joe.
And
You
were
look
you
really
directing the question towards me and James?
No, I don't give a shit.
I
You need to
didn't.
point it who you're
Yeah.
directing the question.
You
I'm
suck at
so
hosting.
sorry. Yeah, I know.
If only we had some anti-communication.
Start over here and walk around, please.
Walk around?
Introduce yourselves. You
Are we
are.
starting with me?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You're the
Hi,
leader.
I'm Jared.
Hi.
Pleasure
What do you
to meet
do, Jared?
I own,
As little as possible.
I get, yeah, really.
No.
I think I own about 3 comic shops and a couple conventions.
We got a question when we get through that. And who's this lovely person?
This will be my lovely wife, Jamie.
Hi, Jamie. You've both been on the show before.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. But we do have 2 new people.
I'm Lucas. I thought he was going to say his lovely assistant. Yeah, I'm Lucas. I'm Circle.
Uh-huh.
I work on the floor at the Intergeek Ashland.
Okay. On the floor. How long have you done this?
4.5 years now?
How long's the shop?
4
been here?
years.
6.
I was going to say 2.
You bought the shop and it was already
We
here.
opened in 2014, right?
Hell, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we opened in 2014.
I joined
And he was
2013.
in the shop already.
Yeah.
He's
Who-
a customer.
I was a customer, yeah.
He was. I don't know if you shopped with me the first day, but like really quickly.
Really fast.
First 6 months. They stole me from another comic store.
There's more than one in Ashland?
No.
Um,
Not now.
Not
Technically.
anymore.
Actually, there is now, but there wasn't when we opened.
Oh, okay. I was just
But
curious.
he was getting his books in Huntington,
Yeah.
which was the closest place actually on the whole list to Ashland.
Okay.
Huh.
And you are?
Katrina.
What's your last name?
Nancy.
NC. And what is your full-time job here?
A little bit of everything. Technically, I manage the Ashland store, and then I usually help Jamie manage Jared.
Finding keys.
But don't
Fine,
you have a
Dr.
full-time
Pepper.
assistant?
No, actually, when we're not at the convention, she is also Jared's assistant.
How many assistants do you have?
It takes a village.
All I have is James and Chad.
And we want him to fail so
It
bad.
takes a village.
All right. So
It does.
I have one serious question before we start. Which cons do you not own now?
There are many.
What are they?
San Diego.
Other than San Diego, Wizard World, what else do you not
I
own?
just have the 2 now.
Celebration.
Yeah.
But you're working towards it.
Yeah. We celebrate.
Yeah. But you don't happen to
So he
own.
can buy-
I don't have enough
Celebration.
celebration.
No.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Um,
There are lots of good cons that I don't know.
None of them employ me.
That's true. Yeah.
So let's remove the word good.
You should, we
there are a
we
few
should
other
do
ones
disclosures here. Technically, Joe works for me 1 day a year, or 2 days a year.
Fuck you, 2 days a year. Usually
Hold on.
3. You
One
made
and
me
a half.
One and a half.
I've known Joe for a long time. If you work 2 days, it's 1 day of work for anybody else.
And the Greers know I would happily do it for free. Anyway, moving right along. There's some other cons that are good to us, but that's beside the point. So there's only a few you don't own now. You just bought a new one. Which one is it?
We just acquired Tricon up in Huntington, West Virginia.
Yeah. You got the guest list for that, so I can start studying.
Not yet.
Because if you start finding somebody,
I bought
if
it
you find
literally
another
a damn
fat
week
man
ago, Joe.
before me, I love you. Keep going.
Don't
Don't say I know. You gave me the Empire Strikes Back.
You got Hond.
I got Han.
He's gonna hire you for the East Virginia win.
He haunts me. It's okay.
What'd you say?
He haunts me.
Does he really? Oh. Yeah. No,
We
I don't feel worse
we
for
even
you.
got a we got a gift from a convention goer this year.
What
It
was
was his and her necklaces. One said "I love you," the other said "I know."
I really,
I noticed you're not wearing them.
I think they were meant for the guest and Jared.
Now, Jamie.
No, I mean, I'm not being mean. I think it was.
Over
initially.
Jerry Springer.
What was her name? Or what was his name?
Let's not go there.
Now,
Let's
hold
not put
on.
This, out
This
on
is
the
a true story. James and Chad have both witnessed it. James a little bit more. I normally, specifically at one horror-themed one, who usually talks to me?
Are you talking about the group that normally talks to you?
Or
the
I'm
type of
talking
people?
about the type.
That would be divorcees over 40.
Well, that, and I was thinking other bears.
Oh, no.
What is
And
Alex?
Cubs.
Bears and Cubs, yeah.
Cubs, yeah.
He always won his picnic basket.
What our top supporter bought those necklaces, but I still think
I
they
think
ever
he
bought.
might actually be the top fan on Facebook right now.
I have no doubt.
I think I know who it
If
is.
not,
Is it?
I'm
Yeah.
sure
Does he go
you
to
do.
Lexington Comic Con?
Uh-huh.
Send you
Every year.
messages?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yeah, just me too.
Yeah.
I think I know who it is.
And the best part is, Joe, wait, let me Jerry Springer this back on you, and he didn't get you a necklace.
No, he did not give me shit.
Yeah.
You haven't got cards in the mail yet?
Dude, you're way
God
left out.
knows.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So let's move right along.
Yeah.
We roll right into something we don't
Very
want to
Did
talk
you ever
about
say
here.
that we're live from Ashland?
No,
Kentucky?
that's true. Oh, well, you could have said it.
Well, I'm sorry.
He did say it now.
Again, you suck at us. We are live from the Inner Geek in Ashland, Kentucky.
Yeah, we want to thank the
And by
Greers.
live, I mean you're probably going to be listening to this 3 weeks from now. So,
But it was filmed live.
but it was filmed live.
We
Like on the fan
we
page.
wanted
And
to-
technically, it wasn't filmed live because we're not using film. We're using digital format.
Nobody cares, Jeff.
Jesus Christ.
We're on location.
We're on look. Thank you.
In Ashland, Kentucky at the Inner Geek.
And you talked about owning multiple cons, but you own multiple
He's been playing
inner
cons.
geeks.
Yeah, yeah.
Years.
104 16th Street, Ashland, Kentucky. 30 Pullman Square, Huntington, West Virginia. And
The one near my house.
yeah, there's one.
North
one-
Locust Hill
115
Drive.
North Locust Hill
Drive.
Drive in Lexington. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
Check one of them out.
Check one of them out.
Check all
all
of them
three
out.
of them out.
Yeah.
We did 2 of them today.
And I've been to the other one several times, including with my son recently.
Are you still talking about?
Did I get some of your money?
You did get some of my money.
I like
You got some of my
that.
money
I
today.
like
you
that.
got you got. And if I bring my son or my daughter, you get more money as well.
We
Well,
need
that's
some
good.
more chicks in this world.
My daughter right now is obsessed with Black Panther. I took her to see it in the theater, and she normally hides her eyes during superhero movies because of explosions. I don't know why. We only put her in one. But
Not a superhero movie.
no, we put her
Just
in one
to clear
explosion.
that up for folks.
But no, she is obsessed. So yeah, no, we went to. She's bought a couple Black Panther items at your store, and now it's Captain Marvel as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, the female fandom is coming, at least in the form of a
Do you
9-year-old
think it's
unicorn.
here?
It is here.
It's
I
here.
would argue it's always been
What
here.
is your
it's just not
audience
been-
split? It has to be at least 60-40.
We have a pretty good female audience.
You have
here.
a big female audience.
Why?
But
I
it
mean,
didn't
this store has
start.
a decent.
Well, I don't know
It
about the
didn't start that
stores,
way.
but I know for the con, you have a.
Oh,
This
yeah,
store
it's
specifically has a pretty big.
That is a curious question. So, you know, do you think what is the split for people to come in here and buy stuff, with men and women?
probably more like 70-30. It's a lot of guys.
Because I know the cons for me, it seems like it's almost half women, but maybe I'm wrong. That's the reason I said 60-40.
I think women are huge con goers.
And
they're-
specifically when it comes to cosplay too.
They're not
Yeah.
as big in the store, We try to be extremely female inclusive in here. Most of my staff are girls here. Katrina runs the damn store. So we try to be open and inviting for girls, and we get some.
I was just curious. Yeah, that's an interesting question. This leads me to another question. Before I know we want to talk about some of our favorite superheroes, but I'm curious.
Superheroes. I like Campbell's, chicken and noodles.
Maybe more.
Ooh, good one.
Superheroes. I'll have the suit.
Hey, be careful with that joke. It's an antique.
Yeah, anyway, I'm curious to ask you two, specifically Katrina and Lucas, what I'm in by you two. What's the weirdest customer story you have?
There's this guy came in that set up for a podcast.
Okay. Past that. What's the weirdest one?
There's so many.
Yeah.
What's a good one?
Lucas.
They had a really good one this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened?
Specifically.
It was tail end of last week. It didn't technically make it into the store. We had just closed. we're locking up everything. Here, tug at the door, turn around, and I see a guy, and he starts hitting the girl that's with him. So I turn around and say, Shannon, these people are fighting, and we're both like, okay, we need to call the cops. I turn back around, and she's got him bent over, just drilling him in the face.
The girl does outside?
The girl's beating the crap out of him.
Good
They
for
drive,
her.
They drive up in this white four-door beater car. It looks like they had a bunch of stuff in the back to try to sell us. And that's one thing we see a lot of, is a lot of people bring just random stuff, so anything from action figures, comics, sports cards, baseballs, pieces
You guys
of
buy it
fabric.
all?
Not all.
We buy a lot of
A lot.
stuff.
You
I
do
mean,
sports cards though?
We do sports cards prior to 1975. We don't buy modern sports. I won't even help you set your modern sports cards on fire. I mean,
They're that worthless.
yeah, the bulk of what we
Mostly.
see. I mean, there are some, but the bulk of what walks in the door from the 90s, we just.
They're worthless.
I got a 1993 Muggsy Bogues. I'll sell you.
Ooh, man.
Throw it away.
That is not what you care.
Yeah, so she's beating on him. And by the time we get the phone, they're both already in the car about to drive off.
So we assume that they were coming here with something to sell. They pulled in at 7:01. We closed at 7, and whoever made them late, I guess, was taking an ass whooping.
That's what I was sitting here thinking, no offense, while you were going through it. I was like, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah,
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, I can't believe you held us up long enough.
Yeah.
Now we can't sell this
Yeah.
shit.
That's
Now
the
we're-
first
now we
domestic
can't-
Probably.
dispute we've had.
Now we
I
can't
think.
get our object.
Now we're never going to be able to sell that truckload of Beanie Babies.
Yeah.
What's the most interesting thing that's come through the store to sell you?
Most interesting. Oh, that's it.
That would have to be the negatives.
Yeah. We bought, and actually these came into the Lexington store.
The grassy knoll.
No, quick story though,
better.
and I'll show you.
Oh.
I'll show them to you when we get done with this. But so, woman comes into the Lexington store with a comic collection, and she's kind of a regular seller. We think she might be a storage auction buyer or something. And she is the most hateful old woman ever. I mean, the people that work in the store down there just kind of, they're like, oh my God, she's back.
But she loves you.
She likes me really well. She likes
Did she give you
she likes AJ.
necklace?
No,
No.
she didn't give me a necklace. She likes AJ, but she thinks AJ's me, and sometimes she calls me AJ. So anyway, neither here nor there. She comes in with a comic collection, and Jewett buys the comic collection, and as he's unloading it from her car, there's a box full of old film and pictures and stuff, and he says, "This go to?" She says, "Yeah, everything in there." So he loads it out. And, we got them back here and started going through them. It was negatives from World War II, and this guy was he was clergy, I guess, in World War II, and he was driving around a lot taking pictures. And we have hundreds of negatives from photos that he took in World War II, and I've showed them to a lot of people. None of them are out there. So it was basically an unfound stash of decent, really nice World War II pictures. And this guy was a pretty decent photographer too. Most of them were composed well and stuff. But there were some concentration camp photos, things like that. There was some pretty rough stuff
It's
throughout.
supposed to be, you have to be rough to look through.
Yeah, some of it was. It was like,
It was hard.
wow.
Some of it.
It's hard to imagine what these. And the thing you always have to keep in mind is these were kids
Yeah.
that were, they were 18, 19, 20 years old dealing with that stuff.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
So anyway, the next week I'm in the Lexington store. She happens to come in. I said, "Tell me what you know about those negatives." And she said, "What negatives?" I said, "The negatives that came with the comic collection we got last week." I said, "I've been looking through them. They're pretty hard to look at." She said, "Well, they're your damn problem now, son." And I said,
Did she say it just that
yes.
way?
Yeah.
Which it means she transferred ownership, so you're in the
Yeah,
clear.
yeah. I wanted her to say that, not, "Oh, I want those back," because we were, for a long time, we were really questioning what we should do with them or whatever. Since then, they've basically just been locked in my safe. But I did share them all on Facebook one time, and I took them all back down because they're kind of, I don't know, I got iffy about whether they should be floating out there or not.
Yeah.
Those are definitely the most interesting.
Yeah, that's definitely the coolest.
I mean, that's a historical archive.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that sounds like you've got a book.
Yeah.
of
Well, yeah. A
photographs.
couple people said you need to just publish them all in a book, and even if you
Yeah.
Amazon direct it or something like
Yeah.
that.
Did you notice the big canvas in Jared's office of the soldier walking between the trees?
No.
No.
I had one of them blown up.
That I was gonna say
Massive.
that's heavy. Had you noticed that that's one of the pictures that
No, I
was in
missed
that
it. I
box?
must have been looking at all the toys.
Yeah.
And as far as cool things that came in, just recently we got the original Bob Kane.
Yeah, I got an original Bob Kane Batman sketch the other day.
Oh.
That was
You
pretty
mean-
cool.
That
No, that
came
was
through
Bob
here?
No finger.
Yeah.
Now, do people drive near and far, or is a lot of it local?
Hold on, we gotta do it. Near, far,
wherever.
Okay,
you
it
are.
does.
I'm not partaking in that.
And
Oh,
I
well.
would.
You shouldn't.
I've tried not
That's
to.
a you guys.
You probably have self-respect.
Yeah, I mean,
We do
mostly
not.
when people call from too
I was
far
going to eat
away.
cereal from the 90s.
This
80s.
is true.
He was going.
That might be the coolest thing walked in 1989 Batman cereal.
Still.
Who had it though? It doesn't matter.
I really don't
Yeah.
know where that came from. Anyway, where in the fuck was I?
What were we talking about?
Just fat
About
guy.
people coming near and
Near
far.
and
Oh yeah,
Near
so
and far. So yeah.
usually if they're too far away, people will call. If they have enough stuff, we'll drive to them. We drive all over the place looking at stuff.
Sometimes you fly places.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was leading into my next question, Katrina. So we're friends. We're not bosom buddies. Haven't been over to look at the snake collection, but we're friends. What were you going to buy, and why did that hooker sell it to somebody else? Because I got the article. Did you post the
salty.
article for it? Yeah, that's where I saw
Yeah,
it.
but I think you pulled it down because
Yeah, I took it down because I didn't want it to look like sour grapes or whatever. But
Well,
so
clearly it is, because he can tell me.
It is. I'm going to tell you the story. I'm going to leave
Yeah.
all the names out. We flew an undisclosed location. We looked at a massive comic collection.
It could have been in a state that's near water.
Could have been.
Could have been.
There could
Or
be an
it's Cuban.
article about it online right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's several
currently be an
articles,
article. We made an offer on set. So the woman told me on the way down there, I have a standing offer for it. It's this much money. She just told me. She said, so if you don't think you're in that ballpark, you don't have to bother coming to look. So we went down there, and quite honestly, on the way down there, I got to question whether she really had an offer on it or not. But still yet, over the course of 2 days, we looked at the collection, and I made her an offer that was $5,000 bigger than what she told me she already had an offer for.
So you took 2 days to look at it.
We spent
4 days down there.
Yeah, we spent 4 days total down there, just back and forth with looking at it, offers and various things. Anyway, in the end, I offered her $5,000 more than she had already had an offer for.
And I'm assuming that was a hefty offer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she
Begging.
and she turned me
Not for
down.
BKY.
Yeah, she turned me
Begging.
down because $5,000 wasn't a significant enough overbid. She didn't think. And
I would have taken it. I'll be honest.
yeah,
I don't even
it's
know what the
$5,000.
original
She
offer
wasn't
is.
driving a $5,000 vehicle. I mean,
Right.
it's like
I think though what she wanted more than anything was just verification that the previous offer wasn't screwing her over.
Yeah.
And
I
they
think-
probably, if you bid 5 over, they probably weren't screwing her over that bad then,
Yeah.
right?
No, and then actually
I didn't want to
spot
go
on the
any
money.
more than that. I mean, I went 5. My offer would have probably been just a little less, but I knew what I was up against, kind of.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, so she wanted it to go to her local guy, and
He got it
he got it.
Do you,
for $5,000 less than what you offered.
Yes.
That actually, I had a question about that. So we talked about people bringing in weird stuff and all
And
this
I'm
stuff.
really pissed over it.
I'm sorry. But I had to ask about that. I'd be a really shitty interviewer if I did.
Does anybody bring in stuff anymore that they don't know what it's worth? Like you used to hear the story all the time about people bringing stuff in.
And we've bought things before that we didn't know
Yeah,
what it was
sometimes
worth.
I'll buy it and not know really know. You know, so you bring in this is a mystical
I mean,
ball of shit, and I don't know nothing about it, but it looks cool.
We did have that.
I'll buy that.
we did have that one piece that walked in, the styrofoam piece.
What?
Oh yeah, the
that
Star.
you bought in Lexington.
Oh yeah. We bought a
styrofoam
styrofoam spaceship in Lexington, and literally we couldn't find a comparable online. But I wasn't sure what to put in it or whatever. I think AJ ended up giving them $100 for it or whatever, and they were tickled to death to get it. We listed it on eBay with $1 starting bid because there wasn't a comparable out there. It brought over 1,000.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
For a styrofoam spaceship.
Yeah, it was
What
a
kind-
Lost
It
in
was
Space.
from like the 60s.
Oh, but you had no idea.
Yeah.
And it was
I
white
mean, here's the
and
thing
still
too.
together, and it was bizarre, but we couldn't find it.
Yeah, I mean, had we known, obviously, I'm not trying to rip people off when they bring stuff in here. Generally speaking, we'll advise people of what they've got, and I usually try
What
to
it's
tell
worth,
people.
and then you have to sell it.
Yeah, I'll tell people, well, we're going to retail it for $100 to $150. I want to give you $75 for it, or whatever.
Right. Yeah. You're going to ask 150, and the first person that offers you 125.
I'm gonna
so
sell
it's
it.
going out
Yeah.
the door, and you just
Yeah.
made $50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, we
That's how it
got the
works.
call that AJ wanted to know how much to give for it because he couldn't find it.
Yeah.
And Jared said, I don't know, shoot, $100.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we don't lose our ends on it.
Well, and how often do you not find a comparable? Because in the age of
Yeah, 90% of the time you can find a comp.
But
The
that's
sheer
something that's just
dress
so.
up, the sheer dress up set in the back is one of the things I can't find a comp on.
Oh, by
But-
the way, we were looking at
Is-
something for people who are listening to us. What's wrong? What did
we're
you do?
I thought I heard the camera shut it.
which actually brings
I
up,
thought
by the
you
way,
ran over with your phone.
real quick, if
Yeah.
anybody's really interested in a She-Ra dress up set and you've never been able to find one before, Inner Geek.
Yeah.
Inner Geek and Ashland. I bet they'll even ship it to the Lexington one for the right amount of money.
Yeah.
They'll probably send it home with us tonight to give to you for the right amount
Yeah,
of money.
we can't find a comparable on that. There's just not one out there.
I'm actually kind of shocked about that
As many
because
fans
it's not
as there
it's
are.
not that old.
And no,
And
it's
they're-
not. I
and
mean, it's from 84 or something.
84, 85, you know, it's
something like that.
He-Man and shit.
And I've held on to it, and I keep looking for comparables. Like I'll wait a month and pull it back out, try to search, and so it's just
Wow.
yesterday, I guess, I found the cuffs and the shield loose.
But this wasn't this. She found them at home.
So
Sorry, I had to make one joke.
But that's what really.
One joke. Sorry.
And you all also sell on eBay.
Yeah.
We talked about that. So Inner Geek on eBay if anybody's
Yeah.
looking.
Yeah, it's
Um,
The Inner Geek, I think.
The Inner Geek,
That's our
okay.
username, isn't it? Yeah, The Inner Geek.
So you can support these people there too. I'm trying to do some advertising.
Okay.
But
And we also have a TCG store if you're into Magic cards or Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! We have a TCG player store.
but
What
so
are you doing on the phone?
I'm sorry, we're not
Obviously,
really
no.
important enough to
Oh my God.
hold your attention.
oh no
That's
no.
what I was thinking.
I figure why you two are calling the conversation. I could do some research, but no.
Some of us did that before we
I'm sorry.
came.
He has a whole
really?
stack.
No, no.
Lucas looked for 14 hours.
But no, about that, having a brick and mortar store. I know we live in the age of everybody talking about brick and mortar
Yeah.
stores are hard to upkeep. But I think the other part about it is I wandered around here earlier and we went to your Huntington location. It's just cool to walk around and see stuff and realize what I need to buy.
Because it's set up like a museum, is what it is.
Yeah, we started out in the mall, and in the beginning, my big thing was I wanted people to walk by our store in the mall and see something in the window that they hadn't seen since Christmas of 1983.
Right.
Mhm.
And I always said once you have that memory, you have their money.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, once you have the
We're
connection.
living proof.
Yeah,
we sell nostalgia.
yeah. I sell nostalgia. That's what I do.
Yeah, so the South Park that dealt with it, member berries. You remember? Yeah.
I was gonna say, and
I don't remember that.
I
I don't remember.
You seen it?
No.
You've got to see it.
It's a newer season.
You'll
You don't
laugh
want
at
to
Newer
miss it.
season? Yeah.
Oh yeah, he told me he doesn't
Well, it
watch
was like
television.
when we walked into the store in Huntington. I walked in and the first thing I saw was a junkyard from the Toxic Crusaders action figure, and I just went down there and just like this, just mesmerized.
But
I
what you
haven't
didn't
seen that.
realize is he's a very cheap man.
Oh, I'm
Well,
cheap shit.
Yeah, I probably told you this story, or not really a story, I don't guess. Guys see something they like and they say, "Oh, I love that.
You've never told me.
I love that. $10. Would you take 6?" Women say, "I want that."
It's $10. I'll give you 12.
Ladies,
Yes.
is that true?
With nostalgia, it is.
Yeah.
I don't know about
Things.
other things. But
Is it true when you're
Yeah.
selling things here,
Generally,
men will try to?
I don't know. We've got a few
Negotiate.
customers that are men that are just like sold.
yeah,
I'm on
few.
it.
they're my favorites. They come in, they know what they want, they buy it. There's no
Well, yeah,
hassle.
because that's great.
Well, they'll also they'll give us a list of what they're looking for.
Yeah.
It's like I'm almost done my Transformers collection, but I need this piece, this piece, this piece.
And we know it's baked into this formula, I guess, that people are going to try to negotiate.
Yeah.
We try to leave a little room on most stuff. There are things that we can't move on.
And it's almost
Sometimes
offensive
I overpay for
sometimes.
stuff.
When
Yeah.
people come in and act like we're a flea market. So it's almost
Yeah.
offensive sometimes.
I'll give you
And it's like,
50
come
cents for
on.
this.
I
Well,
put a
that's
lot of
actually
time
more
and
than I
energy into
paid.
presenting
Yeah,
things
yeah,
well.
And the
People-
cleaning and the processing and the completing and the.
Well, the people that look at the well, it sold for 12 cents originally. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear that joke a lot.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Oh my God! Did
because
you see the anger on her face?
Yeah, no,
Yeah, she
I
wants to
said
cut
that.
you now.
The reason I say that is I had a
Put the
friend
knife
who,
down. I thought you were going to babysit.
It's cool.
don't let
Babies aren't
Quentin
even-
ask about 12-cent comics.
You haven't hung around him long enough. He looks like his mother, but
Because I had a friend that owned a comic book store in Moorhead for a while, Moorhead, Kentucky.
you know Fred.
Is it
Uh,
from White Crow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know Fred?
Well, I hear
We'll talk about Fred after
Yeah.
this.
Well,
But
Yeah.
Keith Winkleman was a friend of mine. I don't know if he listens to our show anymore. He did at one point. Hey, Keith,
Yeah.
if you're still there. But
I know Keith.
he, he quit doing it. I believe he's
Yeah,
now
yeah,
in
he did.
Cincinnati and all of that stuff.
Tell you a story about that afterwards.
But well, I'm sure there's several stories.
It's a small world.
But one of the things that
After all.
I stopped and asked him once
Thanks.
was,
Now that Disney owns the show.
Moorhead State University. I said, what do you do when? Because I grew up in Moorhead. I'm like, when university's not in session, nobody's here. And he said, no. What parents do is they just drop off their kids and leave.
Was it recording?
I don't
They
know
don't do that
stuff.
to us nearly as badly here. They did it in the mall very bad. When we were in the mall, we were an absolute babysitters.
Katrina had one that was there. The two little ones around Christmas time. Were they there like 3 hours before you finally called mall security?
Yeah, I was like, I need you to find their parents.
They were like 4 and 6. And
But
they were
you
there
love
for
children.
Is that the kid that said, "You got the damn Jason Voorhees figure"?
No. Those are the kids
What,
that were
did
back
you?
to school.
Those were sweethearts.
No, they were very well mannered from up a holler.
I was going to say,
I'm from a holler.
my wife was a store manager at I won't name the business she worked for, but at Fayette Mall.
Yeah.
And she said that was the common thing. She said it was people dropping off their kids, and the store she worked at wasn't exactly always kid friendly.
Yeah.
And she said the other thing was teenagers on snow days just coming in and seeing how much they can steal.
Yeah. We have that problem really bad in our Huntington store.
But it's not kids.
Yeah, and it's not kids. It's mainly drug addicts in Huntington.
Yeah.
We don't have that problem in this store as bad. I mean, we find one or two things shoplifted a month maybe here. In Huntington, it's every single day.
That's
We
great.
either catch someone stealing something, or we notice something that's been stolen, or somebody sets off the alarm on their way out. Or,
Is
you
it
know.
is it because you think it's so close to the college?
No.
No,
Somebody has
Huntington.
It's not the
Huntington
college.
just has a problem.
It's a bigger city.
downtown.
Bigger problems.
I mean, there are a lot of issues plaguing Huntington right now.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of smalls in the store, and it's a bookstore, so coming in to hang out is kind of built into the thing.
Yeah.
And they'll come in and spend 2 hours in there to get out of the heat or whatever, and
Yeah.
usually hit me for something while they're in there. And sometimes it can be a tube of chapstick, or sometimes it can be a $150 item. You never know.
Really?
We had a girl at one point that went over and grabbed one of our bags, cute little book bag,
Uh-huh.
and just proceeded to walk around the store for
Filled
45
it up.
minutes and filled it up. And I guess she lost the nerve at
No,
the
she
end.
tested the alarm. She walked.
That's
she took the
right.
bag and walked close to the front door with it, and the alarm went off. So then she went to the employee working behind the counter and said, "Hey, can I set my bag down right here for a second?" He said, "Sure." And she set it down there, and she left.
She grabbed a tube of chapstick
Yeah,
on
she
the way out.
she stole the tube of chapstick on the way out on camera.
Well, you got to get
But
something.
then later, the employee's looking at the bag and think, "This is all our shit in the bag." You know. So
Wow.
we then went back and watched it on camera. She'd been in there
Jared
filling that
clipped
bag
the
up.
video. It's on his Facebook.
Yeah,
you should
it's
look
a
it up.
yak
and
I have
see.
seen
video.
a couple
Yeah.
of them. Yeah. That
Yeah.
I was. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know where I was going with that.
Well, no, I think that's, because I keep hearing business owners talk about the challenge of brick and mortar store, but I think a store like this, it works so much
We
better.
escape a lot of those challenges in the Ashland store here because we're kind of off the beaten path. Most people that come here are here because they know we're here and they come here for comic books or toys. You know, we have
They're
we
seeking
know
us out
60%. Well, no, we probably know 70% of the people that walk through the door here.
If
Probably
not
more than that.
Yeah, if not more. I mean, we know them.
What about Lexington? Lexington is a smaller store too, though.
Lexington's a smaller store. Jewett's been there for years. He knows most of the guys that walk in there.
By
but,
name.
Yeah.
And, he's
But-
on it.
But also, Lexington gets a lot of. I don't know if it's homeless people in the area, but it gets a lot of people that just want to come in and hang out for an hour and then. I don't know, but whatever, it is
Right.
what it is.
So back to, I want to ask you to again. We asked about some of the most interesting things. What is something that's come through the store that you just had to own?
Everything.
No, I know you. Notice how I looked at
Personally,
those.
like
two.
something that we wanted
Yeah,
to
that
keep
you have
ourselves.
seen. Yeah, absolutely. Or that you may have wanted to keep, and it was like, well, I can't afford it, but the store can afford it. I don't know. I'm just curious. What's something that's come through
That's
that you've just
probably
really
comic
wanted? You
books.
can't.
Because I know
can't
for
move.
you that's an easy one because you say you just like the thrill of the chase and what you
Yeah,
got, you're
I
ready to
don't.
give
That's
it
the
away.
reason why I
Most
wasn't
things I
asking
don't
you.
care about owning.
Right.
I just want to buy. I want to have it. I want to say, "Ooh, I never had that."
If it's
And
not a
I'll have
Chevette
it,
or
and sometimes
or-
I'll buy it and leave it sitting on the counter because I don't care about it anymore. It's mine.
Well, I think
Right.
a good one for Jared would be the Rodan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
you freaked
I
out on
like
that
some of the, like the old Shogun Warrior stuff.
Yeah.
The Godzilla, the Rodan, who's probably sitting over there, isn't he?
No, you
Yeah,
took him
he's
back
in
to his
your
office.
I took him back.
Yeah, you-
I go through these spells of I want to sell that. No, I'll keep that. I want to sell that. No, I'll keep that.
Yeah.
And even if it's for sale, it's priced very
Not
high.
for sale.
You're gonna have to find somebody equally passionate.
Yeah, there
was-
very little. There are very few things in the store that aren't for sale.
He learned that lesson really quick with a inbox attorney once though.
Yeah.
The first
Oh,
one.
my gosh.
Okay, so tell the story real quick. 2014 or 15, I don't know.
It was
When
15 because I had just started.
yeah, when the con first started being successful, I said, "Damn it, I want an attorney, and I want a good one." And I got on eBay and I watched and I finally bid on one
Inbox complete.
with the box.
Pretty.
I got a great deal on it, but either way, it showed up to the store and UPS man brings it and I
We had
opened
to
up
take
and
his
it's like
picture with it.
Christmas. I took a picture with it and all
He's
this.
actually smiling. Jared's usually not
And
smiling.
I got
in
ready to
pictures.
leave for the evening, and I just set it up on the very top shelf. And Katrina said, "What? Why is that up there?" I said, "Don't worry about it. Tell everybody it's $2,000.
Nobody will buy it.
Nobody will buy that." But sometime in the night, I think they posted the picture of me holding it on Facebook. So I
next
wasn't in
morning,
the
the
store
phone
the
was
next
blowing up.
morning. The next morning, she comes into work, and there's a guy there when she opens the door that says, "I want that," and he bought it,
For $2,000.
$2,000.
Didn't negotiate.
And she called me and
He
said,
tried, but Jared was firm.
"Yeah." She called me and said, "There's a guy here that wants to buy your attorney, and I've already told him $2,000, and he's not backing off."
Jackson, just so you know, you're getting ready to come on to camera.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, my youngest son is venturing in the background somewhere.
So he ended up buying it.
Yeah.
I told Jared that the guy bought it plus tax, everything. He had brought cash. And Jared says to me, "I can't talk to you right now."
And hangs up.
And
Yeah,
just
because
hangs
it was
up.
on the phone.
Katrina
I'm
calls
assuming
me.
you made a pretty good profit on it.
Yeah, I did really well on it, but it was
So
like
sad.
it was like
No, you didn't even have it 24 hours.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Katrina called me and she said, you should probably call and check on Jared. Like, I said,
I've
what
never seen
happened?
him upset over something.
I mean, since then I've probably had 6 or 7 of them, but it
But you
was
had
like,
searched for that like 14 years, hadn't you? Like you
Huh?
had searched for that for a while.
yeah, I had wanted one for a while and never would allow myself to spend the money on one because it was something that I kind of thought was frivolous or whatever. But anyway, things change. I guess.
What's the thing that's come through the store that you all had to have? There has to be something.
Katrina snags Aquaman Silver Age Aquaman comics when they come through.
Which-
Lucas usually for Silver. He wants old Iron Man books.
When Jared doesn't sell them out from under me twice.
That I'm hurt, Lucas. I mean, we're here to make money.
I know.
And all you had to do
He
was
has
offer
to
more.
pay you.
And luckily nobody likes Aquaman, so I get first dibs.
Well,
Not even with the new movie.
I was saying, I'd say with the new movie, it
movie was
might get a
fun.
little
I
hard.
have one girl that started coming in here and buying Silver Age Aquaman.
But we sell a lot of Aquaman because of Katrina. She has developed her own little fandom here. So.
Oh, I bet she has.
We're talking about certain customers. Or
I bet you have a lot of
I'm
customers
just
that come in
saying,
to
she
smile
can
and
say,
very
read
friendly.
this, and they're like, okay, I'll take 2 copies.
Yeah. Good for you.
Joe, does
It's
that
worth
ever
her
work for
weight.
you?
No, God, no. God, you're fat.
It's going to be,
Can
actually,
you talk? How do you get out of it all the chins? Anyway.
actually, it's with you, they're like, no, we're just going to burn the copies you
Yeah,
recommend.
No, they first say, "Sir, can you please remove the Whopper from your mouth?"
not if you want me to talk. What about you? Come on, Jamie. There's got to be something that you.
Jamie likes
She
Labyrinth.
snags every Labyrinth piece that comes through here. She snags
E.T.,
every ET piece that comes through here.
Freddie
Any-
Mercury.
Yeah,
Anything
between-
Freddie Mercury, she snags
Definitely
it.
Freddie Mercury.
So in my office at home,
Yeah.
that is supposed to be a productive space, is nothing but Freddie Mercury, ET, Labyrinth, and seems like no, I get she
Is it
started-
the Dark Crystal and Labyrinth or just Labyrinth?
More just Labyrinth.
Oh,
I
just
mean, Dark
David Bowie.
Crystal's cool too, but
Yeah, but it doesn't have David Bowie in that.
you know, I didn't.
Cod
No,
piece.
Yeah, that's right.
it's more the creatures and Labyrinth are
Right.
like my.
No, it's
Have you ever,
okay.
completely
Everybody-
unrelated, have you ever been to the Puppetry Museum in Atlanta?
No.
Go.
What the,
They're
what
doing-
the hell kind of
I
question?
will
is-
tell you
Okay,
that
yeah. So
I had a moment. We had, okay, you know, we do these conventions and we develop a lot
You
of
own all of
friendships.
them.
And there's a
Yeah.
toy store in Cincinnati that we went to that some friends of
called
ours
the toy
own,
department.
Called the toy
We'll give them a
department.
plug.
Chris
Just
and
don't
Kenneth
go buy
there.
anything there.
No,
Come
good
here.
people. He buys
yeah,
it off
really
me
good people.
usually, so I supply.
So Chris and
Not
Kenneth
always,
have a
but-
couple of prototype Labyrinth toys up there that I literally went, oh
No,
my god.
What she literally went is, I'll take those, Chris. I need those. And
And
then he hands them to her, and she notices that how much were they?
They were
apiece?
they were
$1,250
$1,250 a piece.
And,
I
and,
have a chair here. You're good. Why don't you send a chair?
and then she goes, I can't. But
It
anyway.
was $2,500 for 2 stuffed animals, and I just couldn't justify.
Prototypes.
They were awesome.
Were they
Don't get
made
me
by?
wrong.
Was it Kenner that was up there?
Yes.
Was that where
Kenner
they came out of?
and
Was
Sawyer,
that where it was Kenner because
Yeah.
it was all right there?
Yep.
Yep. That was what I was in.
Yeah, he's in prototype heaven up there. He gets so many cool
They get a whole
prototypes.
Yeah,
lot
they're
of-
still in barns.
Yeah.
People
yeah.
are still in barns. All the
Yeah.
people that work there, that's
Yep.
still just sitting there. A lot of it. Even though there's documentary after documentary, it cracks me up. That they're still finding all that.
So but Kenneth had laughed, and we've known Kenneth for years.
Yeah.
He said, "I've never seen you fan out over something like that." He said that was so funny to watch you like have a moment.
Well, the Puppetry Museum, the reason I say that is they have the original puppets that they used. And you can go and see that. And I took
Where
my
is he
son.
at?
They're in Atlanta.
In Atlanta.
And they have a lot of Jim Henson, and they have the Doozers from the original Fraggle, and they have all that
Jared
stuff.
likes
I like
Fraggle Rock.
Fraggle
If
Rock.
you've never,
Down in Fraggle
Chris
Rock.
owns
seriously,
all the
I-
original series.
my daughter was at a
Kid won't pay
theater
attention to it.
festival, and I had my son, and I had to find something for him to do. And when I do that, of course, I'm looking for something for me to do.
Yeah.
And
Also like Alice in Wonderland stuff.
There had to be a bunch
My-
of
The old
you
Alice in
didn't-
Wonderland,
that's
not.
my wife
Doesn't
loves
use
the
it to buy
original
one.
animated. Matter of fact, Joe got her. We were talking about it upstairs. Got her one of the original.
Alice in Wonderland, I bought her from the re-release from 71 half sheet or 70, something like that.
Well, I ended up with not long ago. Somebody, it was actually one of my younger son's girlfriends. Her mom had cleans out houses and remodels them and sells them.
Uh-huh.
And she was like, I found this really cool. I think it's a chess set, and it's the pewter and gold, old
So he should be
chess
running, by
set
the
that's
way.
Alice in Wonderland.
I heard the sirens
I did too, and then I saw
outside,
it
and then
run.
my son comes running
Said he
by
was
the
a skater
window.
boy. Said, "See you later, boy." Sorry,
Jackson,
if you're
were you running
listening,
from the police?
No. I'm sorry. Not really, I'm sorry. Big group of people. Bus.
Never mind.
That's not convincing.
As long as you weren't running from the police, son.
Don't worry. right?
Though this will be our highest rated episode.
Yeah. Can you get
Cut
your
the camera
friends to
off.
listen to 40-year-old white guys? Middle-aged fat men. Anyway, what were we talking about?
There's not much of a market.
There's not
I'm saying
much
that
of a
we're
market
moving
for
on.
it.
Puppet museums and
Yeah.
No, but I
It's
just.
things that we all like.
Yeah, well, I'm curious. Now, this leads me to the second, because I kind of know you two a little bit better, Lucas and Katrina. I'd like to know, how did you get into comics?
Jared literally threw comic books at me and said, "If you're going to sell these, you have to know what you're selling."
Well, how did you get hung up? Go ahead.
No, how'd you get hung up on Aquaman then?
I was reading just about anything off the shelf. That was, when we first opened, that was Jared's rule. If we were dead, read something. Find something you love. Because the first 3 people he hired knew nothing about comics.
Yeah, my first 3 hires were 3 girls that knew nothing about comics.
It's smart.
Well,
No, I'm not
Yeah,
being
but-
sarcastic. It was smart.
It really was.
It was very.
And all of
it's
them-
very smart.
Well, most all of them. 2 of the 3 are still here.
I will,
1.5 of the 3 are still here.
1 1/4.
upstairs. I
Shut the
will
door.
tell you though, when originally I was in there the majority of the time, and then Katrina would come in the evenings, and then Katie was there on occasion. But usually in the mornings from about 10 to 1 or 10 to 2, I was there by myself. And I had a guy come in one day, and this is just we still get this from time to time. Guy comes in and he's like, "This place is really cool. Man, it's awesome. You know anything about comics?" And I went, "Nope, not a thing." And kind of laughed. He said, "Really?" I said, "No." I said, "If you have any questions, let me know, and I
Yeah.
can help you." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And he said, "You own this?" And I said, "Yeah, me and my husband." He said, "Phew, your husband's a great man." And I'm looking for my husband, who's not there at the time.
How much did he pay you to say these things? Because that's what my wife would have said. I hear her say, "How much did my husband pay
We
you?"
still get that a lot. We still get that when it's
Still get
just the girls. Like, Katrina's manager here, but we have a lot of people that say, "Can I talk to one of the guys?"
Katrina will come back sometimes and it's usually her or Lucas out front, but AJ and I are usually in the back, and Jamie's usually in the back, and Alora, another girl that processes toys, is usually in the back. So there's always people back at house, but Katrina sometimes will come back in the back room and say, "Anybody with a penis, come and help this guy."
I get very bitter.
This guy needs a penis.
I don't blame you though.
Some of the best parts is when I'm on the floor and he'll make a, so see Katrina make
Well, we
a
just got the
beeline.
name of our episode.
This guy needs a penis. Yeah.
He'll see Katrina make a beeline for me because I'm on the floor with her, and he's like, "Hey man, how you doing?" He'll start talking to me, and then try to work out a deal that starts to go sour. He's like, "Man, well, can I talk to the boss?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, man, she's right there." And he just always has like a look like,
This is and we're going to have to take a quick pause, but I've got to ask you a question before we do it. What's worse? The sexism with "I need a guy who has a penis," which is probably redundant, but not always. Or, "Hey, how you doing?"
Oh Lord.
Which one's worse?
Sometimes-
They're
Because
bad.
you're not hard on the eyes. I mean that in the nicest way. Which one's worse?
The worst is the people that won't talk to me because I'm a girl and they want a guy.
That's the worst?
That's worse because
That's
it
insane.
eats right through me because I've spent a lot of time
No, it's
learning
it's god
this,
awful. Yeah.
and sometimes it sets me off.
Well, no, I would imagine it would, because that's what I always think about. I mean, in all fairness, if we traveled back in time and you met 14, 16, 18, 23-year-old me, the fact that you could find somebody that did know this stuff.
He would never have left you alone if he'd given you his number.
No,
Hey,
I didn't have the intestinal fortitude.
You
Remember-
you like music?
There was the Band-Aid guy.
Remember,
The guy in the mall.
you like gladiator films?
I've got to start doing airlines from airplanes.
Yeah, Jared was there for Band-Aid guy.
What's
That one
Band-Aid
got
guy?
me pretty good.
Oh,
The guy that needed a Band-Aid because he fell and he hurt himself falling for Katrina.
That's worse. What was better was, did you hurt yourself when you fell from heaven?
Hold on, shit! I gotta write this down.
Don't use it. His wife's name's Christy too. Don't use it on her. You're not kidding.
FCK,
Try-
all that's missing is you.
Oh,
Well, you can try using it on my wife. She might pay attention.
Did that work on her?
No. that didn't work with anybody ever.
Well, I never had the intestinal fortitude, is what I was actually going to say.
I did, but I had
my,
it too much.
My wife asked me.
Be relaxed.
But
Clear that right up.
What?
that
Intestinal
intestinal intestinal blockage. But,
Damn it!
But no, I just actually wondered about that because I
Did you
mean,
really?
to me,
That's why I didn't get to go to prom.
Pause!
You were talking about cold calling. The hardest thing in this business is finding enough shit to keep the store stocked. You know, so
Yeah.
my job basically is to always,
Even with all that crap in the back.
yeah.
Three
I know.
stores.
I know.
Well, and I was
I'm
gonna
not
say,
I'm serious because I don't know. It was a legitimate
No, well,
question.
see, crap in the back is
back crap.
fun crap, but it's usually not stuff that will eventually make. Some of it will eventually make its way to the floor. But you know, we buy a G.I. Joe tank that doesn't have all of its parts, so that goes in a tub in the back until we got.
So you
another
have
one that has some
14
more
gray
parts.
skulls and 13 snake mountains, and you're waiting for 3 parts.
Yes.
Yes, and we probably
Exactly.
don't have a single one of the
Yeah.
little laser pistols that goes with Castle Grayskull. So
Or the chains
most of
that
that,
go
yeah,
with
the chains with Snake Mountain.
Accessories
I-
are always like, and
Yeah.
small pieces are always like the hardest to get pieces and the most expensive pieces.
Right.
They're the ones that always get broke or lost to begin
Right,
with.
they're the ones that got
'Cause
sucked up
They're
in the
being
back.
played with, yeah.
So anyway, I know a guy whose methodology for finding comic collections is going through old comic book buyer's guides and calling the numbers in the classified ads and hoping that he finds somebody who's dead, yet he is able to buy their collection or
Wow.
their inventory.
That's smart. It's like the person who goes through the obituaries looking for a house or an apartment. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a guy that does that, and it actually turns out pretty well for him.
He gets
I
some
told
decent
Katrina one day, I said,
stuff.
we need to find some old comic.
I was about to say, and I would imagine that you really only have to have 1 or 2 hits out of 1,000 calls.
Had I bought that one collection down south, that would have done us for the year. I mean, that would have been enough comics probably to get us to the
Actually, I just have one question. So you talked about stuff that's missing parts. How do you decide what gets what space? What gets prime real estate and what gets kind of...
I mean, we know that our bread and butter is Star Wars, Masters of the Universe, G.I. Joe, Thundercats, Transformers, and anything that's got a big robot in it.
So early to mid
I was
80s.
saying, I was like, yeah, you said Master Universe.
Yeah. I mean, that and wrestling figures and Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles kind of thrown in there too. Those are the bread and butter. Anything else is mainly just for higher-end toy guys that are looking for Obscura. And most of the stuff, it's funny because a lot of the Obscura, the knockoff figures are all huge money. But the guys that are collecting knockoff figures are the guys that have already completed their He-Man line. And now are looking for the dollar store He-Man.
It's like when we were talking about posters earlier in the back, and I was showing you an NSS code. When I said, when you find a Star Wars, let me know, specifically for A New Hope, because even the fakes
Yeah.
are worth money. I can show you what fake is worth money just because I happen to know that. Well, you wouldn't think would be worth money, but there's this one guy
some of the
who made a
knockoff
ton of
stuff's
them,
better.
and
Yeah.
he made this one mistake that everybody loves to have.
Now, if we go to toy shows, and me and Jared this has been one of our, a hot topic for us. Jared always wants to say, no, we need to take some G.I. Joes and some He-Man. I'm going, no, we need to take Obscura, because every time we take Obscura, we sell a lot more, because it's not all over the room.
I was about to say, and I would
No.
imagine that's one of the
No.
I
challenges.
like to stick to bread and butter. She always wants to take the stuff to toys.
To
'Cause
toy shows.
I go to
You don't
toy
know-
shows.
You don't know who's going to show up,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You never know who's walking in the door. And, so the back room becomes just the area where everything lives that isn't exactly going to fit on the floor in one of the stores. Or stuff that we're holding back to wait on to get more parts or whatever.
Or stuff that I simply just
we're-
haven't gotten to yet. 'Cause
Yeah.
There's that too sometimes.
And everything we buy then goes, so we buy it here at the counter, it goes straight to the back. Then Jamie and Laura, our other processing girl, will pull stuff into the processing room. It gets cleaned, it gets checked for completion, it gets repackaged, priced, and put out. So there's a process involved in everything coming in and going out.
And if it can't be completed on the spot, then it has to go back to the back room to get put in a correct tub, because we have the tubs that are labeled
And I
with the
saw
parts
them all
in them.
labeled. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say,
Yeah, when they were looking at posters, I was sitting there like this.
Probably could have looked. You could have said, "May
Yeah,
I
yeah,
open?"
yeah.
not to sound like Toy Story 2, but what's the longest it's ever taken you to restore something that you have been able to restore?
That didn't sound like. Could you do a Kelsey Grammer impersonation
No.
and then make it sound like Toy Story 2?
Because if you can't, you're
Because
useless.
that line was pointless then.
That's kind
Restoration's a slippery slope.
Yeah,
we
we
don't do
don't-
a lot of. We don't do anything that I consider.
Well, I guess
restoration.
completion.
Now,
Completion,
on
cleaning and
occasion-
finding parts.
on rare occasion, if something we'll have something that can absolutely function and look better glued.
Yeah.
It's very rare. If it is ever glued, it's always marked on the post-it or the card that's with it that says, hey, this has glue on it.
Now, speaking of long term though, there's a cat slayer back there.
Oh, we saw it.
We get okay. I get one cat slayer a year. They're always broken.
The little red pieces always snap.
We have
Something with that red plastic.
We have a customer with a 3D printer who just last week took my the one cat slayer I have back there home, and he's 3D printing some of the parts that break on them commonly. And we're going to try to perfect that a little bit. But that one cat slayer's probably been in the back room 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean...
But generally speaking, I don't spend a lot of time on anything. The one thing that I hate cleaning, hate cleaning, are Millennium Falcons. Because they have stickers on them. There's tons of little
every little crevice has dirt in it.
So you can't just, and you know,
I just didn't see
cleaning
it coming.
for
so
us, you know, we don't paint anything. We don't put any, you know, I use Dawn and a sink of water.
Don, that's an endorsement.
Yep, we need money for that.
You know, it's gentle. It doesn't affect the paint. It does, so you know, it's
doesn't crack the
perfect for
skin.
cleaning. Oh no, it cracks the skin.
It's good enough to clean the penguins with, though, because that's why my son always goes, it helps the penguins, Daddy.
That's actually considered restoration. We probably don't really do.
Yeah. No.
I mean, because toy guys don't put up with that shit.
I don't. You know, when we end up with reproduction weapons, they go in the garbage.
They go in the garbage.
I don't say it. And if somebody should happen to buy a figure with a reproduced weapon, it's completely accidental.
And we make it right.
Because we usually, anything that we find as a repro is just throw it away.
Is it because you've seen so many now through experience, you just know?
Yeah.
Well,
sometimes.
Man, the fakes are getting better and better.
Yeah.
You can go on eBay now and buy fake just about anything, and good Lord, don't get me started on magic cards. We see fake magic cards every day.
But with the weapons, it's getting really bad with like Star Wars weapons. Because they are done so well with a 3D printer. That I mean, I'll get some and I'm like, these don't quite look right, Jared. You know, call it, because I don't want to put them in with something that's and call it real. So sometimes it'll go through 2 or 3 of us before we're okay with putting it in with something, because we don't, you know.
And there's a lot of online resources for what's real and what's not, ways to tell real stuff from fake stuff.
Look, I wanted to get back to the question
God bless
earlier.
you, Al Gore.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wanted to get back that was an antique. Because Trina answered the question, and I know we're circling around, but how did you get into comics? So he made her. She made no choice.
Tied to the wall.
And she decided, I don't want to hitch my wagon to the Greers.
Listen, he spent his entire life with me following him and Jamie around, so...
See, I don't know if you know, when I met Jared, Jared knew Katrina already, and Katrina was 4.
Yeah. So Jamie and Jared have been
Katrina's
a part of my
dad
life.
and I are good friends.
She was like the 5th person to hold my son when he was born.
Snakes.
We
There's very few snake guys in town, so we find each other and we become friends.
Which is weird.
You know,
That's a whole other thing. We were out in the forest.
Anyway, so
Katrina's been around for everything.
so-
You know, she takes care of our cat. She takes care of our kid when we're out of town. My lord, she could take care of all of our money. We wouldn't bat an eye.
Yeah.
She takes care of the store. She's kind of our little.
Let's talk about the money later.
Rescue
Rescue from the jungle.
Jungle rescue.
She can sign Jake's.
But anyway,
Let's get back to the jungle thing. Right? As soon as you answer how you got into comics.
I was a 90s kid, so in the 90s we had kind of the second golden age of animation, and it was a lot of comic book stuff.
Oh, we're in our 4-parter.
We did a 4-parter on 90s cartoons.
Right.
We did 2, and we got 2 more.
Because we did 2 on 80.
Just saying, Bonehead. Of course, you're already watching Bonehead.
Yeah,
it's really a bad promo.
every time
I don't think you need to put props on the show.
Just put up one of those little sidebars like, by the way, we have this video.
Yeah.
By the way,
Yeah, so I grew up on Batman
Batman
the animated series, X-Men, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Fantastic Four.
we talk about all those, man.
all of them. And then I was the right age. I was, I think, 10 or 11 when Spider-Man came out, and X-Men, and Blade. So comics have always been part of my life. And as soon as I got old enough, unfortunately, around me in Ironton, we had a comic store for like 5 minutes.
You pronounced it wrong.
Yeah.
Arnton.
Arnton.
We were just talking about that.
Sorry,
I don't
Mom,
speak
but
Arnton.
you do.
But yeah, in Ironton, we had a comic store for like 5 minutes, but that was like, I was like 7, so I was right into Pokemon at that time. So we had one for 5 minutes. It leaves, closest place to get comics is Huntington. There's two old comic book stores in Huntington. One of the first like brick and mortar comic book stores is in Huntington. So basically when I got my license, I started buying comics there on the reg. I actually had a pull list.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, once the store opened, I started coming here.
Okay.
That's the short and sweet of it, I guess.
No, I was just curious. I was wondering how you
He
got
was selling
into
cars when I found him.
Yeah. He asked me a couple times.
Actually, I think you got asked to not sell cars anymore right before.
You do not look like a car salesman.
Well, that's why I quit. Yeah. I started. I think it was the summer when my friend Seth and I started coming to the store, and Jared, we were like two of the more sociable comic book guys. So Jared was like, "Hey, you interested in a job?" And I was like, "Well, I'm selling cars. I can't." But fast forward a year, and they just told me, "He's like, hey, if you don't hit your quota this month, we're probably gonna let you go." And I took that as a threat to fire me, so I jumped ship as soon as they're like, "Hey, are you still?"
You called up Jared to say, "Is that comic book job still
Yeah.
open?"
And then they're like, "Oh, we weren't gonna fire you." I was like, "But you had me write." Like, you had me sign a piece of paper that said you were going to fire me on this day.
We managed by empty threats. What part of that did you get?
Moral of the story is, don't threaten me.
If you want you to work.
Yeah.
All of
He's not motivated by threats.
Yeah.
He's not motivated by anything.
all of
Oh, my dad used to say that to
I'm
me.
barely motivated by a paycheck.
Yeah, barely.
Barely.
But all of our staff,
Second-
except
He's
for
on
Katrina, started
Second
out as
longest tenured
customers.
employee, by the way.
Second.
Second.
Only
Katrina's
behind the manager.
longest. Well, they don't count because they own the business.
I said the manager.
Oh, right.
Manager,
Yeah,
that's
sorry.
me.
I was thinking,
You noticed
Just-
I was giving you props.
she doesn't have a
Thank you.
business. So,
Yeah,
In fact,
that
I think
doesn't
that's what I'm
count.
going to call her from now on.
yeah.
The manager. Manager, come over here. You watch this kid?
Yeah, it's,
All right, anyway, I didn't mean to get up. What were you about to ask?
I have no idea.
Oh, I'm
There's
sorry. I
something
thought you were
about
about
jungle.
yeah, the jungle.
Oh,
They
what's
got-
the
they got
jungle
us to
story?
jungle
Is this
last
when
year.
you all went to Guyana?
Yeah.
What
First
happened?
time.
And why
The
were
most
you
recent
there?
time or the
Were you
second
trying to
time?
pick up some Kool-Aid?
What,
No, you can't
Oh.
get there.
Okay, so
Oh, too soon, really?
Yeah,
Too soon.
no.
What did you say, Kool-Aid?
I said Kool-Aid.
It was Flavor Aid.
Yeah, it was.
Was it really?
Yes,
Flavor?
jackass,
Yeah,
great
yeah,
flavor.
yeah.
Oh, I am so the fuck
And-
sorry
and
that I got Kool-Aid.
the big
Jim
Car
Jones
is
is going to
still
sue. Oh.
Let me call up JJ. Oh.
Semantics.
Yeah.
So, okay, so how long ago did we go first time?
13 years
Why
ago.
were you in Guyana?
13 years
This has
ago
to
we
be a
went to
snake thing,
Guyana
yeah.
because
Snake people,
a
man.
guy I know through the snake business
Do you like snakes?
No, God.
Okay, all
Uh,
right.
lives, his
Knuckle up there.
family lives
What's
there.
up?
And so we went down there and spent a week, or spent like 10 days the first time. We loved it. It was just she and I. We were
Yeah.
we
We
were
were
both
Young, skinny, adventurous,
Yeah. Anyway, no kid.
not
So-
achy.
Anyway,
Yeah,
we
he was
loved
with
it.
us.
We absolutely loved it. Fast forward 13 years or however long it's been. I got the brilliant idea to let's take the kids, my sons, 13 and 21, to Guyana. Because they need to see how a different country works. And I said, it'll be great. It'll be so much fun. Now, the thing I failed to remember, or to, I guess, notice about myself is that my standards of living have went up significantly.
No, especially now that we're in our 40s. Yes. No,
I like nice hotels and good food and
I get
Air
bitchy.
conditioning and electric.
Yeah.
I get bitchy if it's not a king size bed.
yeah,
Because we have one at home.
Wi-Fi, electric. Oh, I gotta
Yeah,
have everything. So
yeah.
we get down there and
And mind you, it takes 21 hours of travel to get to Guyana.
Jeez.
so
For us.
we get down there and within the first 12 hours, I realized that I had made a horrible fucking mistake. I
Did
mean,
something bad happen?
no, nothing bad happened.
It was
and
just
Well,
hot.
yes, they woke up and realized where they were.
my kids were miserable. I was miserable. She had a headache. Probably nothing to do
Uh-oh.
with the trip. But Jamie got a migraine basically before the plane landed.
Okay,
Which is a
Jamie
bad deal.
also keeps migraines, so that wasn't a
Oh,
huge
no,
deal.
that sucks.
Anyway,
I
my
take
dad suffers
medicine,
from, yeah.
I puke, I lay with a cold cloth on my head until it's gone.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Anyway, within 12 hours, I was like sending Katrina and Katie both texts.
Get me out of
the
here."
fuck out of Guyana. So, through some miracle, they are
It's not
able.
a miracle. It was a lot of hard work.
Okay, they were able to
There's
get
no
us an
miracle, it's
immediate
called
flight
Katrina.
back out. And so we flew back to Miami and we spent
we-
a week and a half in Miami.
So 21 hours of travel to spend 28 hours in Guyana, most of which was nighttime,
Would
by
you-
the way.
What?
Well, at least it was
Keep going.
cooler.
And then paid a ridiculous amount of money to end up in Miami, where we determined we shouldn't spend any more money. So it wasn't fun either.
Well, the first text I get is, my cell phone doesn't work here. Nobody's happy. See how much it would cost to get us to Trinidad. Because they took a flight to Trinidad and then from Trinidad to Guyana.
I got to tell the hotspot story. Hold on. So
Hold on. Go back.
Yeah, no, because you got to get the internet access here.
Yeah.
So the guy tells me, and he's a friend of mine, so Damon, no harm, no foul. He says, we have a hotspot there for Wi-Fi. It's no big deal. You'll have internet the whole time you're there. So, oh, okay, well, that's great, you know.
Yeah.
We get there, and his sister, who's taking care of us, when we're in this village out in the jungle, really.
It's literally a tribal village. It's an
yeah.
hour drive away from anything.
Yeah.
And also, you can't get to Jonestown because nobody will take enough money to take you there.
Right.
It's like bad juju. They don't want to do it.
Okay.
Anyway.
I'm just curious. Yeah, keep going.
So we get there, and his sister,
I got that.
his sister says,
You got some
if you
comments?
go to that window and stand and hold your phone out the window, you can get cell signal. So
That's the Wi-Fi hotspot.
that's what they called the hotspot.
It was a spot.
Stand in front of the window and hold your phone.
Spot.
Which is where the
It's a
oldest
fun
son
spot.
spent most of his time
Yeah.
trying to get a hold of his beautiful girlfriend that was here with him earlier.
So we could go there, and I could send a text
Don't
from
blame
that
him.
one spot.
Yeah.
No place else in the whole fucking village is there internet.
Now, rewind back to the first time we went. There was.
Why
we
did
had
you
a-
go?
We,
Was it for
The
snakes?
first
Yeah.
time we went was for snakes and to travel. Loved it. We stayed in the middle of town. Watched the kids get up. There was at the time they had a missionary school, so they'd all get up and let the goats out and let the chickens out and put on their little uniforms
Then
and
let
go
the
to
children
school.
Uh-huh.
And it was, it was great. We
Yeah.
loved it. Didn't have cell service at all to get in contact with my son.
But I was carrying a fucking Nokia at the time, so
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
like anybody.
Flip
You're
phone.
you're not used to that.
Right. Yeah.
But he was. I think the mistake was to find it. For them to say, "Hey, we've got internet and phone service down here now," because
Because I thought I was getting into a situation where I would have internet all the time, and
I could manage the businesses if something were to happen and all
Right.
that
And I'm
good
assuming
stuff.
no air conditioning.
Oh
hell
no, no.
Anyway,
see.
so I sent Katrina a text that said, "See if you can get us back to Trinidad, because there's a Hyatt in Trinidad."
Yeah.
Anyway,
Thank you to our sponsors.
so she got us actually all the way back to Miami the next morning.
They were supposed to fly into Fort Lauderdale. After several phone calls with the airline that they took, I was able to get them all on the same flight, but I had to fly them to Miami instead of Fort Lauderdale. And this was after the lady on the phone asked if I could leave 2 people behind. I was like, no, that can't happen.
The
So,
kids,
what
right?
what else
Kids.
are my options?
They're young. They'll bounce back.
You're taking one kid, right?
She had to tell them she was a travel agent.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So,
Because the airlines won't let you fuck with somebody else's ticket unless you're a travel agent.
Right.
So anyway, she convinced them she was a travel agent who was working on her flight.
What'd you have to do? I'm a travel agent. Okay.
Well, sometimes I was Jamie, and sometimes I was a travel agent. It depended who I needed to be to get the flights changed.
Nice.
But I got it done, and I got them home.
In Miami wasn't a good time.
Got our boys back.
I had a great time in Miami. We went to, I don't remember what we...
we went to the movies.
Yeah, we went to the movies. What did
to,
we see?
To
We
get
went
back
to a
home,
shoe
they had to fly
show.
business class.
We saw the Meg.
So,
didn't we?
that was not cheap either.
No, we
Sounds
were going to see
expensive
the
as hell.
Meg. We saw some
It really was.
Sounds like thousands and thousands of dollars.
It was.
It was wasted.
It was.
And that's after going and getting the boys their extra shots that, by the way, they don't have around here anymore. So you have to drive to Charleston.
It was
to get
about
special shots.
$6,000 shot straight up a hog's ass.
You know how I know he's from the house?
Didn't even have a ham sandwich.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I know he's from the house.
If you ever think to yourself, man, a jungle vacation sounds amazing.
No.
No, never.
Seriously, this is
It did
true.
when we were young and skinny and could handle the elements better. And
You tell your story, and then I was going to.
The moment I saw a spider, I'd piss myself and pass out.
No, that's,
You do that anyway.
that's true. But
Well, that's Sundays.
what I was going to say is, no,
Turns on
that,
the
I don't
microwave.
have whatever that is that drive. Even like 18-year-old me, I have a very good friend. He was, let me make Joey. He was the best man at my wedding. And
Was not me or
Was
was
not.
not Chad or
He,
I.
At least you were in the wedding.
Oh, that's true. I was in the wedding. Chad
I didn't
was
make
in
you
the
wear
wedding.
a suit. Be glad.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
I told you I'd get him. I told you anyway. But he always did stuff like that. Like he went to, do you know there's a window where you can go into Antarctica and you can actually dive, and as long as they pull you out within 30 seconds, you'll live. And he was like, I'm going to go do that. And I was like, I'm not.
yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
part of it.
I'm
And
good.
he has now been to every continent and all that stuff, and he's a year older, and he's just now settling down. But no part of any of that. I'm like, do they have air conditioning? Is there a seafood buffet?
Yeah.
We
Those
had
are my
always
questions.
been extremely outdoorsy though until the last several years, and we've just been busy and
Got cushy.
gotten bigger and gotten cushy
The
and
kids change it too. Christy has to go to a conference in Boston in a month. She was like, I found out Friday, and I said, no, I'll stay home, keep the kid.
well,
But
that's,
it's a I was like, no,
at
no,
the
no,
time
no, no.
Jackson was was
He's
about
two.
the same age.
He's 2. I'm not listening to him scream in a
She had
hotel
him
room, doing
when
all
he
that.
was the first time
Yeah,
we
she
went.
kept him when
He
we went to
was
Guyana the first time.
Less
Well,
than
her
2,
mom.
and her and her mom, and then Jared's mom, they rotated out.
I don't
10
have an
days we
option
were
like
gone.
that. She won't drive to Lexington. Well,
But if you bring him to her,
Yeah, if you bring him to me, I'll keep him for at least a week.
we got to know each other a little bit better, but maybe. I don't know. I'm thinking about
After
it.
a week, that's my good back
He's
point.
hitting those terrible 2s. I think actually this is a good
your,
idea.
Your recent.
What you need?
I can't believe how many people randomly bring their fucking kids in here and say, "Oh, I'm leaving them with Katrina," or not so much in here, but she'll say, "Well, I got to go to so and so's house and feed their dog," and I'm like, "How do you even know where they live?" I mean, random customers seem to want to entrust their animals and children with Katrina all the time.
I don't know. Anyway, I know we've gotten completely off topic of
Oh,
comic
there-
books and
I'm
comic
not sure there
shops.
was any comic. Or any,
Yeah,
No, there really wasn't. We were going to ask about favorite superheroes and a few things, but
Yeah.
we got completely off topic. Sorry about that. And
You
then
don't have
the
to
truth
apologize
came
for
out
me.
about Jared and I not really reading comic books. So,
Jared doesn't have time to
am I not? Oh, he
no,
can find some
no, it's
time.
fine. Everybody knows I
No.
don't read anymore.
time is
That's
valuable.
why he has us.
I literally read a comic. I think the first day the store was open, I think it's probably the last comic book I read.
Oh god, I haven't. I used to
think
be.
so.
I used
Walking
to-
Dead 127 is the last comic book I read.
Yeah, we'll open up and be like, look what happened in this panel. And
Yeah.
I'll be like, that might be expensive. That's
Yeah, I mean, I have to keep up because I'm going to be in somebody's attic next week looking at comics, and
Yeah.
whatever's happening on TV or on the movies is what's driving the market right now.
No, that's what I was thinking. It's the
I
flavor
have
of
to
the
know
month,
that
right?
Mysterio is going to be in the next Spider-Man movie, so I can start pulling Mysterio keys out of collections.
No, it makes absolute sense because you were asking what do you put in the windows, and what I was thinking is the flavor of the month. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I mean, Aquaman would be what
Yeah.
big thing coming out. Anyway, I'm sorry, Jeff.
No, I was just gonna say I'm the same way. Like, I haven't bought a new comic book in years, and even then, like, I have a massive comic book collection. I will still try to go pull one out and read. I'm like, I don't have time to read this. I put it right
We
back.
can change that.
Huh?
We can change that.
Oh, don't give me-
Here, you wanna
No.
buy it?
Lucas
Pretty
always
I don't need to
found-
get back on that.
I mean, Lucas and Katrina
I gotta
and
eat.
Steve are
Yeah.
guys here are pretty much reading most of the
As
books
much.
on the shelf.
Well, how
Yeah.
many do you read a week? The two of you.
it depends on the week.
Yeah.
I've gotten a lot choosier. But I keep up with Aquaman. I keep up with Amazing Spider-Man. Keep up with a lot of Image.
Yeah.
Image was the first thing I really started reading.
Yeah.
East of West, the Bix, stuff like that. Lucas definitely reads a lot more than I do.
Well, the independent stuff's the big one in this market, and in our small market, we probably have the biggest independent selection.
Oh, really?
So we keep up and we pump those books. But I mean, you have to keep up with what's going on in Batman. If you don't know what's going on in Batman, Batman's one of the top selling books that we have. You have to know.
Yeah.
Same thing with Walking Dead, Spider-Man, but sometimes it does help to keep track of smaller books. Just looking over there's like
The
Mr.
guy
and
that
Mrs.
works
X.
for me, Steve, who I just recently tried to kill.
Who? What?
Not on
His
purpose.
pull list is literally
It was one of every Marvel book
if
except Star
Marvel
Wars.
and most of it. If Marvel prints it, I read it.
Uh huh.
If DC prints it, I might read it. Most
Yeah, he's choosy with DC, but he still reads a lot.
He was my full time in the back comic book sorter and worked the front kind of when we needed to fill in. But he recently had
Quadruple bypass.
quadruple bypass.
Wow.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
He's
I
doing,
just-
really,
Yeah,
he's doing pretty well.
Yeah,
he's back. He was in today. He's been coming in and helping me kind of price books maybe one day a week right now. But he's recovering.
Yeah.
As soon as he gets tired, we're like, go home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to ask
Don't
you
work
about
yourself.
somebody and their mother too, but I'll ask it after the show. Just remind me, somebody's mother passed. I was going to ask you how he was.
Oh yeah.
Hey, he's doing okay.
Is he doing okay? Okay, cool.
Oh, sorry. You talked about needing to read everything, do things like that. I just wanted to ask, if somebody came in and said, I'm going to buy one comic, it's up to you what I'm going to buy, what would you tell them?
I was
Everybody.
curious.
Okay.
I was going to buy something similar.
so-
Both of you, I want to know.
So as far as a recommendation, or like if I could choose one comic for someone,
No, it's
Just in
the recommendation. Somebody goes in
Recommendation.
and maybe they say, I've seen a lot of the movies, I've seen them all, but what would you recommend as
if
somebody's
someone comes
concerned?
in and talks to me and says, "Hey, I want to start a comic," I just say, "Hey, well, what genre do you like, or what characters do you like?" Because that kind of is gonna form it. If they want to start with a superhero comic, then they say, "Well, did you like Black Panther? Okay, I gotta run for you, Christopher Priest, Black Panther. You're gonna like that. You like Thor? Jason Aaron's been writing Thor for 7 years now. You're gonna love that. If you like sci-fi, but you don't really want to read a superhero comic, let me show you East West. It just depends.
What are some of the independent ones you guys recommend?
East and West
Is
both of our
my
favorites.
favorite comic right now is East West.
So we've pushed that really hard here in the last year, mostly because it's ending. Lucas finally got me to read it, and I was obsessed with it. I really like Jason Aaron's Southern Bastards.
I just started
Makes
reading
it-
that actually.
It was my
Great.
it was the
Such
first book I
language.
picked
Don't get
up.
attached to people.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's I literally the reason I came up
Yeah.
upon it was I was like I like Game of Thrones and somebody goes you want one set in the South read
Yeah.
Southern Bastards in it so
Pretty much.
Yeah. Now, if somebody comes in and says, "Hey, I like superheroes," my first thing is you have to read Jeff Johns' Aquaman, because that's what got me into Aquaman, and then I developed a real love for the classic Aquaman, for the 40s and 60s, you know, the Nick Cardy art. And
You also really love the old, like way old love story books,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
I,
like the lovey
Love
dovey.
stories
Yeah.
set in the from like the 50s and 60s and even the early 70s.
Yeah.
Just
She's such a sucker.
Anytime we get
She's
romance
like-
comics from that era, they basically go straight to her desk.
I have to
they're-
read them first. at
They
the
are
very least.
they didn't age well.
Not at all. They're
Is it kind of
sex-
like the old paperback romance novels?
Yeah, they're sexist. They're racist. They're bad. A lot of them have advice columns in them. And
Really bad advice.
What is some
love
good advice that you
soap
got?
operas.
What is some advice
do what
you
the
got
men
from,
folks say.
I have to know. What's the best advice you got from the advice columns?
Oh, well, one had a quiz, and it told me that I had to focus on my career first, and I probably wouldn't be a good wife and mother. You had to take a quiz, and it was like, you need to focus on your career. This might be something you achieve later in life. And I was like,
you have chosen to be a
what?
spinster.
You are the crazy cat lady.
Welcome to old man.
Is it wrong?
Start buying cats now.
I'm not sure if it's wrong though. 24. I got time.
You know, Jamie, you're sitting here telling me, but I mean, are you happy? Right? What is that wrong? Is that wrong?
No, I was
Like, could concentrate on your career.
you bring that up.
You know what it is.
No, it's
you
not.
haven't
But
been-
in that context, it was. But in
I
the
get
context she got it, it was definitely
Context
a.
of the 60s and 70s.
Offensive.
Sorry about your.
There's
luck.
Yeah.
there's
You're
a
not
line
gonna get
from
a
a movie
husband.
called Lone Star. It's directed by John Sayles from the 90s. I always remember. It's not so much everyone has time to find someone. You've never found the person to waste that time on. That's worth wasting that time.
Yeah.
Everybody has
I can
the
feel it.
time. Does that make sense?
Feel it.
Yeah.
You know,
you just haven't found
Yeah.
what that is.
There's a lot of stuff though that from that era. That
See, I found James.
get off me. There's a lot of stuff.
Can't breathe.
That's part of it.
I'll just sit over here and
There's-
cry.
I'm
There's
joking.
what's up? What's that talking about?
Yeah,
There's
hold
a-
on. Well, you want to take a pause before you tell the story? No, tell the story.
I'll tell you
God.
real quick. There's a lot of things from
Who's
that
never done
time
anything
table
real
that didn't
quick.
age well. My wife has decided that she wanted to introduce our kids. They were 7 and 9 to Bewitched, the first
Yeah, that-
season.
that probably didn't
Yeah.
age well
The
at all.
opening narration that was like, the American housewife has to please her man. Here's ways she can do it. Tend the garden, have dinner ready, all that stuff. And I'm like, this is a show about an empowered witch woman. What in the world has happened?
And that's how it is when you read those old love stories. They immediately start out with somebody's crying, and
Because the boy didn't pay enough attention.
the
How could he go with her? She's all dolled up and fake.
Yeah, like the covers are the best part.
That's what you're saying to
and
me.
The advice
Shut
columns
your
are
mouth.
always signed desperate, and I need your help. They're almost.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, they are. They're sad, but they're amazing. They're one of my big loves, especially if you can get the truly older ones, like the 50s and the 60s.
All
It's
right.
your guilty pleasure.
They really are.
What'd you say?
You're gonna rent to own.
Yeah. And I like fancy things. You're gonna pick me up some stuff around here.
That kind of fancy thing.
Yes.
All right, as we're closing down, what should we talk about before we go? So, what are you guys looking for? I know you are always looking for comics and toys. Is there anything in particular you want for the stores that you can't never get enough of?
Jared will never turn down a My Pet Monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed
there was
that
two
in
or
the Huntington
three.
store.
Yeah,
Huntington store,
I love My Pit Monster. He's like, I don't know why. No, it's just a thing.
Oh, it's not that you sell that many of them? You just won't turn them down?
I don't sell them at all. If I get them, I just keep them. But I think we've only got 2 of them right now.
Yeah,
You have 2 in Huntington.
Yeah, but I think those are the only 2 we have.
yeah. We had a third one, and he finally let it go.
Yeah, I let the third one go. It was funny, somebody had written "fuck boy" on his nose, but I kept him forever anyway.
That makes it more interesting.
Yeah.
Why did you not give that to me for a Christmas present?
That's your
You know
nickname.
how I would have laughed my ass off if you gave me a My Pet Monster and I could rip the thing and go, fuck boy.
No, I mean,
I would have laughed for hours.
it's even so much more. I don't know. It's so much funnier considering how his nose is shaped.
Yes!
I mean, and right on the bottom of his nose they wrote "fuck boy," and it
I
was
hope
hilarious.
you didn't smell the nose.
No.
You know, it just got, my mind just went there for the first time ever.
Really?
Yeah.
At the same time, you guys are on the same wavelength.
Oh.
I actually didn't go there with it.
Yeah.
As soon as
Sick. I like that
As
about
soon as
you.
he said what was written on, I'm like,
Knuckle up from across the room.
Yeah.
Boom.
Anyway, I finally did sell that one, but usually I just snag them and keep them. Oh wait,
Look, he
wait,
had-
just go
that?
wait, interrupt the flow.
Oh my God.
We're not doing
Superman.
anything
What is this,
here.
amateur hour?
yes! No, it's not amateur hour. It's amateur
Comic book
2
boy
years.
just told you to eat a bag of dicks. Way to go,
I
Lucas.
somehow went to my
You're my
sounds.
new
I'm
buddy.
I put my phone on Do Not Disturb mode before this. What's up?
I try not.
And I don't have any friends that call mine, so I don't.
Let's let the guy finish his
No,
story.
fuck y'all, fine.
Oh, yeah. My Pet Monster.
No, all I was gonna say, and they've heard me say this line 1,000 times. I try to never be looking for anything because you overpay for shit when you're looking for
Yes.
it.
Yeah, because you have to watch that.
I try to take what comes to us. What walks in the door is what I'm looking for.
How often are you able to make a deal? Is it on most of the time?
About every day.
I would
Six
imagine.
6 times a day on a good day. You know.
I would imagine though that people are always overpriced.
It happens occasionally.
Not as much as I think.
Not really.
A lot of guys will come in with a really big number,
Yeah.
and then immediately cut it at least in half, if not.
And they'll come in
give
with
you a fourth
$30
of it.
worth of comics and say, I'm looking to get 600. And you say, I give you $30. And I'll say, boy, you drive a hard bargain. Pay me.
Yeah.
Because you're paying cash.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's-
I mean, people treat us like a pawn shop.
Now,
Yeah.
we did
take their stuff in.
actually have somebody treat us like a pawn shop.
Yeah, I told him the story.
Yeah, tell us
I
that
got a guy
story.
that's coming to get his toys back. So
That was a first for us. We've never had that happen.
Yeah, you told us that story upstairs. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I was looking at it because I found my original Terradrome.
yeah.
And Chad was like, oh, you need to find the parts and put it back together original. It's so much cheaper to me to go buy one off you all.
Yeah. So we bought it. We bought it off a guy in the Lexington store, and I went down last week, picked it all up, and brought it back here. And yesterday he started calling frantically. Had to have that Terradrome back. I don't know what's going on.
Is it
I think
Terradrome or Terradome?
Yeah, one of the others.
Terradrome, right?
Terradrome.
Strong.
We'll let
Not to
society
be confused
correct
with
us.
the
there.
Terradrome.
Dark Seed! Sorry. Whew. I know, sorry.
That heated topic there.
Is it really?
No, not really.
Okay.
There's
I mean, not
4
for
people
us.
really mad about it right now.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess he found it at his grandparents' house. He assumed it was his, and his cousin told him it wasn't his. So now they're in nearly a cousin fisticuffs over this. Over this fucking G.I. Joe toy. So I told him he could come and get it back. You just come give me my money back and you can have it.
That's the first time it's ever been truly like a pawn shop. Now, we have bought one customer's comic collection at least 4 times now. And
Yeah.
And there's a guy whose magic collection we keep buying.
but the last time we bought this comic collection, he didn't make it a full day before he was calling saying, hey, my such and such issue's in there. I'm going to need to buy that back. He didn't want it back. He was going to buy it back.
Yeah, I mean, people will say, I'm getting out of comics, sell you all my stuff, and they'll sell me every book they got, and the next day they're back in here buying back issues again.
Wow.
And they're not asking to buy it back or getting their money back. They're coming back here to buy.
They're buying it
Yeah.
back. They're selling me 20 long boxes, and then, oh, I forgot my G.I. Joe number 1's in there. Will you sell me a G.I. Joe number 1? Yeah, I got one right here.
Because part of the fun is the hunt.
Yeah. Yeah, comic guys don't.
This is the worst dumbass business venture I've ever
Oh,
heard.
I
God.
It's,
But you know,
Talk about a wild
I started
hog's
putting, for a while we started barcoding collections,
Yeah.
and I would make a point to show, he'll never see this, so Tony. I used to have collections
Call him
on.
Frank. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Anyway, his name's Tony because his books all on the wall say Tony's collection, because I love selling him a book that has his own fucking name on it. I mean, I do it all the time. Every time I buy his collection, I'll barcode him Tony's books. And then when he comes in and buys them back, I'll show it to Tony. Look, this came out of your collection I bought last time.
He doesn't argue, get pissed.
No.
Well,
Well, yeah, he always
he
argues
loves
for a
to
deal.
barter.
Yeah,
But
he's
it's
a
not
barter.
arguing or getting pissed. It's just man, come on, guys. Kind of nudge, nudge.
He's an old school.
You're killing me.
You gotta let him have a little bit of a.
Yeah, sometimes I cut him some slack. But
It's keeping you in business. I just never.
He's
I didn't know
also
we were going to
paid-
get to this. I don't know why this drives me fucking batty listening to this. They sell their own shit and come back and buy it.
He also paints Jared's
This is,
cars.
did you want to know
we
anybody
gotta
to
keep
do
him
that
happy.
does this?
No.
And I've been.
This is the reason why the man has 42 vets and 110 Comic Cons.
I used to be much bigger in comics than I am now.
Sorry,
Exaggerated.
I'm exaggerating.
yeah,
Very exaggerated.
No,
But you know,
I get 42 vets. I would think I'd get to drive one.
Wow, you were a shitty salesman on him.
No, he's gonna be.
you might be able to rent
They
one,
want my
but,
movie poster collection, but I'll be buried with that shit.
Yeah.
It'll rot with
I'm
me.
sorry. I
be
do
married
have
with it. We're
customers
digging him up.
who I
Ticking me up.
shouldn't tell this.
Go
You might as well go ahead. You don't
I
get
do
to
have
start it.
customers who I try to make really good friends with their wives.
No.
Because they're old.
I will give you my wife's number. She will be, because she's even said, she goes, when you go, I've got to deal with this stuff, and that's not fair.
You say, no, just call Jared. He'll come
I know.
and deal with all of it.
I'll go ahead. And I had
Look at them thinking they're going to outlive you. Oh, they're totally going to outlive you.
I had 2 entrees at dinner. We're not.
He couldn't make up his mind between the pizza and the cow.
I'll just have both.
Yeah, both.
That's the same thing.
Yeah. No, I had the shrimp. I had the shrimp.
It's totally different.
I had the shrimp pizza. They didn't have a shrimp.
Well, that's
gumbo,
okay.
so-
They were making fun of us. They were making fun of Chad and I for ordering the Mexican and the Italian
Yeah,
place.
they went to an Italian
That makes no
restaurant.
sense.
I was gonna say, at least I ordered something that was there. But
If you want Italian, you got to go to Malini's. If you want Mexican, you got to go to Tres Hermanos.
Or La Finca.
We almost went to La Finca.
Terramana.
'Cause we're
I
going
love
to- well, it doesn't matter. Now we're getting off topic. I'm still.
unless La Finca's or any of these places wants to sponsor, yeah.
Toys and comics and stuff.
Toys and comics and stuff is what. Yeah, well, we usually talk movies.
Okay,
and
so
toys.
let me do the hard part here. We will buy your stuff any day of the week. You walk in one of the stores, Huntington, Ashland, or Lexington.
Unless it's sports cards from.
Unless it's sports cards from prior 1975.
We will
or
look at your
from
stuff.
Newer than 75. What else don't we buy?
Hot Wheels.
Beanie Babies.
Yeah, we don't buy Beanie Babies. We don't buy Hot Wheels unless they're actually good old Hot Wheels, like from the 60s.
Barbie's newer than
We don't buy
1990.
Barbies from the 90s. We don't buy stuffed
Unless
animals
she's
unless
pregnant.
it's
Unless it's a pregnant
unless
Barbie.
Katrina wants a
There's
pregnant
caveats
Barbie.
to everything.
It's not actually a Barbie though. I've researched this.
Her name's Midge. She was Barbie's friend.
I know it's not a Barbie.
Want it back.
And she was a loose woman.
A horror woman who had a
Their
baby
belly,
in her
the
belly.
belly pops off and the baby comes out and it's like a thing.
Which is how babies come out, Chad.
Yes,
Yeah,
That's
you
the
take your
only
belly
way
out.
it happens, Chad.
People remove
It's
the
the
belly.
only way it happens.
Do you have 2 kids, Chad?
We have to protect you.
Yeah, but I was sleeping.
The store.
Well, he pays for 2 children.
He
Yeah.
pays for 2 children. I'm not sure who the parents are.
Yeah, well,
These are the jokes we make all the time.
yeah. So well, also, Joe,
Yeah.
we have some conventions coming up.
Do you really?
We do.
Now
One is-
you promised me a table at one.
I did.
You did.
Just you.
You don't remember?
Okay.
Just
I
you.
don't remember, but you can have one.
You didn't. You don't remember? Seriously,
Jared
you
doesn't
said on
remember
the
a lot of
text.
things.
Listen, I'm probably.
Do not pull
I'm
your
sorry.
phone out and act like you're going to show him that text. You
If you want.
could
Yeah,
not.
He'll keep that text, but he won't keep the text
You have
when I go
a table at the Fall Fan Fest.
Yeah, that's what I
on
meant.
September the 7th.
Yeah, I didn't mean it. The other one. You. Those are.
I started to say, how
I'm
the
not-
fuck are you going to man a table?
You're
at
busy.
the
I'm
show?
busy. I'm busy and more than happy to do it. And
Yeah.
I was hoping somebody would. Yeah, no, we're not. No,
Okay.
yours were sold out long ago.
Yeah, you have a booth at the Fall Fan Fest, which is on
I
September
can't believe you
the
don't
7th.
remember this. Actually,
And who all will be at the Fall Fan Fest?
So far, we've announced Jim Stranko, James Labar, who else,
Jay.
guys? Yeah, Jay Leiston.
Sean?
Leiston. I've known him
Was there a
7
Sean?
years. Don't know how to say his last name.
Ming Chin.
Ming Chen and Mike Zapsik
Max Zapsik.
from AMC's Comic Book Man. And there'll be some others too that I haven't.
And for
Is
those that
Sean Pryor coming?
No, not one little.
Jared's mentioned a Sean to me a couple times.
Can-
I don't know if that
can
was
you give me
Sean
a-
Pryor, is he
There's
coming?
just a Sean. Was there a Sean?
of the dead. Sean.
You
I'm
broke
gonna
mine.
start throwing shit at you.
Here, let me get
Is it not an
And
You don't have
eventually
to.
announced Sean maybe.
Here's a Two-Face.
Just start.
That's no longer
Oh,
vintage.
anything.
There is a Sean coming. He's not announced yet. He's not a announced guest on.
I'm sorry. I really was hoping for one, but I didn't know he was going to let one go. So
no, well, it's all right.
Well, half the time he can't remember.
I can't.
That's all right. He promised me a table and doesn't.
That's what I was like.
remember
Is
anyway.
it?
And you know, I'm not even going to sell any. No,
Give me that toothpaste back, 'cause that's not cool.
I thought you were going to shake your head and go, "No, there's no table,"
And then
because we announced it on Bonehead last week. And we're a bit fall
No,
fest.
no, no.
Hey, there's
Yeah.
a table.
We're all making
Yeah.
bonehead moves.
Oh,
All we're going to do is set up things and hand out. We ordered the stickers and the thing.
somebody tell me the date for the Lexington for the big show.
7? Oh, well, so Fall Fan Fest, though, really quick.
September
before-
7th.
It's September 7th, but it's more for collectors, correct?
Yeah, it is. It's a
Because you did a whole just a collector show last year.
yeah. We've been doing for a couple of years. We've been doing a little thing called Swap Timber. We determined A, that name sucks, and B, that we were just kind of pigeonholing it by telling everybody, oh, it's just going to be a tiny little thing. So we're going to quit doing that.
Yeah.
We changed the name to Lexington Fall Fan Fest.
And Swap Timber was standing by that Swingers convention.
Yes.
Not that you would know.
Yeah.
Hey,
Some friends of mine told me one day, said, we went back to those swap tables and we stayed there laid out on that table for hours. Nothing happened.
Nothing. Maybe that just wasn't what people were looking for.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to do Fall Fan Fest. We're bringing lots of comic industry guests,
Yeah.
things like that. We're going to do some media guests too, but they'll have a direct tie to the comic book industry one way or another. We're going to try to grow that event just a little bit for now.
And for those that don't
See
know,
what
J.O.
happens.
Barr is the creator of The Crow.
Crow,
So
yeah.
even if you're saying they're going comics, well, if you watch The Crow, you
Right.
need to come.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Meet the creator, meet the writer, pay the writer.
that too.
Support what you love.
That's true. Support the arts.
March.
And if you don't know The
26th
Crow,
or
Edward Furlong was in it.
Shut up, Chip.
He was an A crow.
Sorry.
Sorry, the dates for the big show. We interrupted.
Yeah, the big show.
The 26th through the 29th.
Yeah, March 26th to 29th.
Oh, it's a week later this year.
27th, 28th.
Or is it a week earlier
Well,
this year?
you know,
It's
the
a week
first
later
year we
this
did
year.
it was the 24th, and we liked that late March because March in Kentucky is kind of scary as a whole.
Yeah, and you never know. It could be 70 degrees out or it could be 4 inches
Right?
of snow. Yeah.
So later in March we like it a little better.
Yeah.
But we usually don't have a choice either. They say, hey, here's the dates we have.
Unfortunately, everybody gets mad at me over the date. Every year, somebody's mad at me over the date. I
Yeah.
have no control over that date.
Other than you want it in that time.
The convention
March.
centers,
We
I
say
say I
March.
want a date in March or April, and they say, here's where you go.
You've never asked for April. We don't want it in April. It's a bad deal. Spring breaks and things and stuff. So March.
It's okay. You guys can argue about this later.
Yeah, we'll argue about it later. Anyway, and then we also have a new convention coming up in Huntington, West Virginia. And that will be on June, is it 7th and 8th?
I don't know if we.
First weekend of June.
I don't know that.
It might be the second.
It's the first
Is it
weekend
first?
in June.
So now, is it going to be
2020.
like LexCon? Is it going to be
On
a lot of...
yes, on a smaller scale. I mean, the Huntington, the Big Sandy Superstore Arena there only holds 7,000 people. I have already told them that my goal in life is to be the biggest public event they've ever held there.
Mhm.
So we want to get somewhere over the course of a couple of years. We'd like to get up into that area, but we do believe it'll never be the scale of Lexington just because the building. won't
What's
be.
LexCon's numbers this past spring? Can you say? If you can't say, it's all right.
I mean, they were obviously less because we needed
yeah.
it to be less.
Yeah, we needed it to be less this year. We almost hit 30,000.
What's
this
the
year.
biggest year?
We 33,000 last year,
Wow.
or year before last, 33,000.
Yeah, not this past one,
Yeah.
but the
This
biggest
past
one.
year we were confined by the construction down there.
Yeah, you had
We
to.
capped out Saturday and Sunday both, and paid adults we were about 24,000 at the door. We think if we count the kiddos, we're probably around the 30,000 mark this past year.
That's pretty good. That's pretty damn good.
Pretty damn good for Lexington.
That is
Yeah, I feel
amazing.
like-
And I've said this before, and she's made fun of me for kissing your ass, but I do truly mean it for both of you.
I like it when people kiss my ass.
Well,
Really.
I'm sure you do, but I mean this
It's
in
a
all sincerity,
prerequisite
both
to
of
hang
you.
out
You
with
all
me very
run
much,
one of the
honestly.
best cons
Oh, shit, get my
I've
lip
ever been
gloss.
to.
Bye.
And by the way, if you go back and listen to the episode when I'm saying this, you can hear her go.
I
But
did.
no, I will say, and I'll say this as a fan, not
just as
You
a
do run one of the best ones, and I always tell
appreciate
people
that. I
that
do.
it's
It does.
better than the nearest 3 cities.
I would say that as a kid growing up in Kentucky,
opinion.
the fact that we have this stuff in Kentucky now, because I can remember
Yeah,
I went to Richmond, Virginia once for a Star Trek convention that had 4 guests. The headliner was Walter Koenig. And it was a big deal that I even got to go. And the fact that now I literally can take my kids and go to this stuff, and I don't have to drive 6 hours.
See, we're excited for the Huntington one because it's so close to
Yeah,
our
we
true
get to
home.
do it. I have a store 1 minute walk from the Big Sandy Superstore Arena, so I feel like we can do really cool
So
things
you guys are
there.
doing panels there, right?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, just throwing that out there.
And I'm also super
But they-
excited to see what
I
2021
got
brings
you.
for Lexington
Okay.
when the
If
whole
you bring
building
that
is
baby.
open back up.
I'll bring the baby because I'll probably have to come up for a couple of days. Sorry, anyway.
But I think but I just want to say,
Do I have to
actually,
sleep with the
as
snakes?
somebody that was a
thank
fan
you.
of stuff, and I'm getting old now, and I'm watching my kids become a fan of stuff. Thank you for making my kids' exposure be way easier than what my parents
Hell
had to
no,
do.
thank you for bringing your
Give
kids
me my
to
lip
shit.
gloss
I
back.
mean,
No, I'm-
anytime we can do something and people later say, "Hey, I really like that thing you did."
Well, we've always been.
Well,
I've been
believe-
to every LexCon.
I believe you all bought.
I really have.
Um,
We were at the first one.
There are, you said,
Which is
that
funny,
you
considering
like ours
where
better,
we
but,
ended up,
man,
but-
we live in a time where there are good conventions everywhere. I mean,
There
Cincinnati
are.
has a good convention. Louisville has a good convention. I feel like we have a
Cincy,
good
I kind of
convention.
piss on simply because they don't talk to me so much. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
That could be a you thing.
You tend to. And I'm joking. I've actually never been to it. It was just that
I
one
mean,
of
there
them
are,
was
there are
rude.
lots of good. We like to think we're one of them, but there are lots of good conventions.
There
No,
are
I-
lots of good conventions, but I don't know that there are as. There are. Don't get me wrong. There
Hell,
are several
good
others of
conventions
well
in Lexington, Kentucky.
Well,
There are. Yeah. No. Scarefest is a huge supporter of
Yeah.
it, and we appreciate it. But yeah, you guys do a really good job.
But and I wanted to say, I think a couple years ago, you all had John Wesley Shipp
Yeah,
as a
yeah.
guest, and I just have to tell the story real quick because you're a hero
Didn't
to
you
my
tell us the last
son.
episode? No, you were not.
You're a hero to my son because my son. I showed him the original Flash that was in the '90s that lasted a season, and he loves the new Flash. And he was 6 at the time. And I watched it, and he said, "That's your Flash," and he's also in my Flash. And I said, "Yeah." And, now he's Barry Allen's dad. Anyway, and he wouldn't shut up. We paid admission. I was walking him through, got back there, blah blah blah, would not stop talking. We got up to John Wesley Shipp, who was nothing but nice to him, and he literally goes, "Hey, buddy, what's your name?" And my son goes. And I'm like, he wouldn't stop talking from the time I was like, we're going to go make Flash, we're going to go. He gets there and he's just starstruck. And finally, I'm like, his name's Silas. And finally, we were getting ready to go, and he signed stuff, and he talked to him for a few minutes, and it was really nice. And we were getting ready, and finally, and I'm like, he wouldn't stop talking from the time I was like, we're going to go make Flash, we're going to go. He gets there and he's just starstruck. And finally, I'm like, his name's Silas. And finally, we were getting ready to go, and he signed stuff, and he talked to him for a few minutes, and it was really nice. And we were getting ready, and finally, my son just goes, "Silas!" He screamed his name at him. And
I don't remember you telling
Oh,
us.
yeah,
Did
no,
you
it
tell
was-
us about him walking away and then screaming.
it was one of my favorite things because John Wesley Shipp just smiled at him. He goes, "Well, it's nice to meet you, Silas." And it was one of the best things ever.
John Wesley Shipp is a class act human.
And
he
is he really?
He is
Yes.
as good
Yeah.
a
I
dude
can't-
as we've
I can't
ever
blame
had as a guest. I
John
mean,
Wesley Shipp is the only celebrity who's ever made me get starstruck because of his smile. Is the most perfect smile I've ever seen in my life.
And
he's just a
also
class
super-
act
yeah,
dude.
super nice.
And I wanted to tell that story because taking all this stuff away, taking away all the promotion, as a father, thank you for giving me that
Oh,
moment.
no.
That was one of the coolest things
I
ever.
bet.
And I'm gonna.
I will,
join in,
no,
Jamie.
if I'm sucking up, I'm sucking up. But I've got to tell the story.
Somebody's looking.
No,
for
and I'm gonna.
Nope. Hold on. I haven't got to do this to Joe on tape yet for this episode. See, I'm faculty, Joe.
Oh my god.
I don't need a job. I got the summers off.
And I'm going to bounce off his story about my story about how this happened this year because I was actually able to bring my kids to Comic Con for the first time, and Charlie Adler was there. Now Charlie Adler is I'm a lifelong fan of his, just in awe. And I took my daughter. I've been showing her Tiny Toons and Real Monsters, and I sit her down next to him, and he's got a line and he's autographing. And I couldn't get in line because she's 4 years old. She's 5 years old. She doesn't have the patience to sit in that line. And I go, "Look, honey, there's Buster Bunny." And she's like, "What?" He goes, "That's the guy who does Buster Bunny. Also, Ickis." And then I just started listing off the names. And she's like, going. And Charlie Adler looks at her and sees that we're sitting there talking about him. And he just waves at her like this and goes, "Hi, little girl." And she just her jaw just dropped. He's like, she's waving at me. Buster Bunny's waving at me. So I got to experience that with my daughter. So thank you.
Cool.
I would say Tara Strong is similar with my daughter. Went through all the voices.
I didn't know we were interviewing you all.
No, it makes me think about it. So once again, as a fanboy,
I mean, you
thank
can sit there and tell me I'm good all you
No,
want.
Jared's just leaning back on I enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm just basking in all this
I'm being
sucking
honest
up.
with you.
Lord.
It's one of those things that as a father, I
Make me
think
feel
about.
good.
It's one of those things as a
feel
father, I
good.
get to keep that moment. So
Yeah.
I do appreciate that.
It's nice that it's.
You've made Joe blush over here.
That's
No,
blood
that's
pressure.
blood
That's a
pressure.
heart attack.
His medication's wearing off.
What's the one thing with our kids? Neither one of our kids.
Yeah, both my
are,
kids are so jaded. they
they're
don't
not
give a shit
excited
about anything.
anybody.
I don't know that mine's going to either.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that the other day. Since when he was a baby, he met Edward James Olmos, which I think is the coolest thing. And I was geeking out, but I don't think he didn't care. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
and I love to be able to put all these pictures together later and say, "Oh, look what you were with and Daddy." And Daddy was once cool a little
I was
bit.
about to say no,
He
and
won't
then
get two
later.
shits. You're talking about leaving all this stuff. I can see him out there. Daddy never loved me. Just love his movie posters.
It was really funny
Yeah.
because
That's exactly right.
Daddy never loved me.
Jackson's at the time girlfriend.
Yeah.
His now girlfriend's back there with him, so I had to kind of be quiet. But anyway, she was a huge fan of The Office this year. So her mom brought her up and dropped her off for the day. And Jackson's in the elevator, just talking to the Office cast like it's nothing, because totally jaded. And she's like, "You just talk to them like you're talking to my mom."
Yeah.
Just,
Like they're human beings and people and whatnot.
and she was just completely blown away that Jackson was like, "Yeah, so."
But some people know what I do at work at UK, and some people not so much. That is the number one requested thing I have for people asking me for favors.
Well, to meet the office?
For the office. They wanted to be able to get into that room. They wanted. I had.
Okay,
We can
so
talk about it later.
while we're talking about it, let me.
I mean, and it's not like I can pull a lot of favors. I'm just the moderator.
Well, I will tell you, and I don't know if I told you this, when we had a couple of the guests check in, and it was Meredith and it was two of the Office cast. I can't remember who it was. It was late at night.
Mhm.
There was a woman about 3 people behind them when we were checking them in the hotel that just kept getting louder and louder about, comments towards these guests. I could tell. I was like, I looked at Katie, who assists me during the convention, and I said, this is going to be a problem. I've never had this moment at the convention where I've like, we're going to have a problem.
Yeah.
And she just kept getting louder. And I said, I leaned in, I said, when you guys get checked in, I said, we're going to take the back route. And we started walking through there, and she was like, thank you. She said, I was starting to get really weirded out by that woman. I said, me too. I said, so we're going to go this way so they can't see what floor we get off on.
Yeah.
And I took them to the freight elevator, took them up. But that was the first of all the guests we've had. That was
Really?
the first year that I've really had somebody that I thought, I'm going to have to be extra close with these people until I get them up and into their room.
What kind of comments can?
I just felt like she was going to be one of these that,
When
I
to
don't,
wear
it
their
just
skin
felt
as a suit.
off. It just,
I think I know what you're
and it was
talking
kind of like,
about.
well, they're from The Office. I love The Office. I'm so glad The Office is on Netflix, even though I've made it a point to watch all of it. And she just kept going on and loud, and I was like, and you could tell
She
that they
probably
were
wanted
getting
the attention.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
wanted to serve them.
And we couldn't really put our finger on it exactly, but
No,
me
but it's a
and
good
Katie both
instinct.
were kind of
It's
like,
a good instinct to roll them.
This
So-
is getting
Good instinct
weird.
matters.
So do you think that if they were different Office cast members, could we play that a second year and get,
Yes.
get,
Oh, yeah.
get 4
Yes.
others?
I mean,
It
my
was the
God, you
one
have-
that
Office is huge.
You had
people
at least
threatening
half a
fan
dozen
base.
people I know off the top of my head that would not normally go there.
I mean, for example, you
Just
have-
personally. Now you
Parks and
think
Rec.
that's one person.
oh
I know
yeah,
is-
Parks and Rec would be
Katrina
another
says
big one.
Parks and Rec. She-
That would be
I
another
think
one.
you could.
She
do
says Parks
both.
and Rec is greater
And
than
what's
The
his
Office.
name?
I think it all comes down to which one you watch first. If you watch The Office first, you're gonna love that one more. If you watch Parks and Rec first, you're gonna love
Yeah,
it
for example,
more.
I haven't watched The Office, and I love Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Well, the one guy on Parks and Rec, what's his name? That's in
Chris Pratt?
no.
If that's hard to say, if that's really who you're talking about.
No.
Oh,
We're
He's
gonna
in,
fight here.
he's in the show we're watching now,
We're gonna fight
Big
here.
Little Lies.
Yeah.
What's his name? Or he's in Parks and Rec.
Oh, Adam Scott.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Adam Scott, I think, would end up being a fantastic guest
Oh,
at
yeah.
some point
I
because
think it'd be good with either one of them. But
Yeah.
it just occurred to me when we were talking about it because I'll have somebody who may know something about it, or they'll know I do. I actually, like, for example, my doctor will see me and goes, "So, do you have a Comic-Con coming up?" I was like, "No, I don't particularly hang out with communism."
Yeah, I don't really hang out with those people.
And he doesn't get the joke.
Am I
And I
a
think
pinko
you're a
to
doctor and you don't have any historical reference. Anyway, sorry, going right along.
My favorite one was whenever I had told somebody once that we were doing a Comic Con was, "Oh, really? Which comedians do you have coming?" And I said, no, comic books.
So,
Oh.
So you've got all the stuff upcoming. I do have one question that I wanted to ask earlier, and it skipped my mind. That's what skipped. Booking guests, I know, is a challenge, and negotiating and things like that. Have you ever looked at what somebody, let's say, we'll use the term nicely, demands? Have you ever looked at a demand and went, like 400 brown M&Ms or something like that? Have you ever looked at one and went,
no, he gives them to me every year.
Yeah.
you get the
He's not
not that it's
diabetic, but
odd.
he keeps showing up.
It's usually just money. I
Is it
mean,
really?
Yeah.
very few celebrities will ask for some stupid out of the way stuff. It's
We
usually
had
just
one
a price tag.
This year.
And we turned them down.
What was the most ridiculous thing they asked for? Can you? You don't have to tell me the celebrity. I
I don't
just
know
want to
what
know.
you
What,
want.
That might not have been why they didn't come.
I
But there were some, wanted, hair and makeup
Oh.
for them, specific
I-
for them all the time.
I don't know that that's.
the reason I asked
There's
was
a reason for that, I
There
guess.
I know-
depends on who they are, what their
Yeah.
experience, and what. Yes.
Yeah.
I felt
Yes.
like that
if
specific
Jamie
person.
felt like it was too much. Because
For
Jamie's
someone-
argument was, I get up and do my hair and makeup every day.
well,
Yeah,
I'm not saying-
but if
Why-
for
why
that
can't they get up and do
for that
their
one
hair?
person you thought that you might get to go along with that other person?
Yeah.
I could see where they have an image
Yeah.
for 30 years
Right,
that
right.
they may want to.
Yeah.
Well, and the reason I asked was,
But this
of
one
the-
didn't have a 30-year history.
I wondered if there was any people that put those requirements out there as just a way to also say, polite way of saying no. 'Cause
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We ran into a couple of those through conversations with other groups where one of them required, what was it? It was multiple suites.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
I will say who it
that's
is because I've met him a couple times. He's a really nice guy, but and he didn't want a ton of money. Come to find out, but at the time, he would have been more popular 2 years later, and it was John Carpenter,
Yeah.
the director, and it was a Scarefest, and he just required several suites for other people.
Yeah, yeah.
And some
that happens a lot.
Other things
Now-
that I thought, well.
Yeah,
And
there's-
I've met him. He's actually a nice guy. Well, he's not very nice to me. But you probably have experienced 90% of them. It's like most people. 90% of them are fine.
98%. We've
Yeah.
had a
It's
very
like
small
people,
percentage
right?
of douchebags.
90% of the people you meet are absolutely fine and wonderful, and then there's
8% are weird and 2% are complete freaks.
are assholes. And that's,
mean, they're-
for me, I've only probably ever moderated 2 people that I wouldn't do it again.
There
Unless
are-
you really asked me, you'd have to. Yeah.
there are a few people who ask for a lot because they want to. I think they just don't want to go unless it's just exactly what they want, and that's what they use to weed out offers from. I mean, and when I first started, I didn't
Low
understand.
rent cons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly how they weed it out, And if you can meet the travel package and meet the money, then they'll do it.
Yeah.
Neil Adams, we love him, we really do, but Neil's basic ask is there's going to be at least 4 of them coming, so your 4 flights and it's
3 booths.
3. No, he
Well,
wants
that's-
40 feet now.
Well,
Yeah, he wants 40 feet of booth
But that's
space.
just
well,
for
actually,
him.
that's just
3
him. So
yeah,
it's,
3 people need booths, but he needs a huge booth.
yeah, his booth is 40 feet, and his 2 sons are 10 feet apiece, so he takes up 60 feet of booth space. So he,
And that's prime real estate.
yeah, and you're
Right.
flying them all, and they, of course, they have a fee as well. And
3 rooms.
I mean, there's a lot, but Neil's, it's worth it, and it's how he keeps the low rent cons out of his life,
And he always draws. I mean, not draws, not
I
physically.
know
Arts.
exactly
Hey,
what
You
Andy.
see what I did there? But people always come to see him.
Oh, crap.
You
I
know?
always do that with a microphone. All right, so I know we got to wrap
Yeah,
up.
I'm
We've
sorry,
got
I just wanted to ask that
so-
question.
And I know you all got to go home. Thank you so much for your time. Is there anything else? So we've got Fall Fan Fest. Fall Fest is as the 7th, correct?
September 7th.
Come out and see Bonehead. But
Yep.
anyway, also come out to see them as well.
Yeah.
Pay your admission. Pay 2
Pay-
people's admission.
pay 2
Buy,
people's admission.
buy admission as gifts.
Do you have? Well, you're not going to give me. I don't blame you. You're not going to give me a huge lexicon person that's coming next year.
Now, oh, by the way, we'll just say this. If you come to Fall Fan Fest, you
Yeah.
will be among the first people to get guest announcements for the main show.
Cool.
We're going to announce all those, or the first wave of guests that weekend. And once you come into the show, we'll have a big display there of our first guests.
Wow.
So
Will
we're
tickets
gonna
already be on sale?
Huh?
Will tickets also be on sale for the March?
No.
They don't go on sale
Okay.
till October 15th for the March show.
October 15th. There, I just
Yeah,
wanted that day
yeah.
out there too.
October 15th for the March show. Come on out to Fall Fest because it'll be a good time. I'm sure you'll get to see us and we'll make fun of you, or you can make fun of us.
Yeah.
Or we
And
can
let
make
me
fun of
tease that little
Jared.
thing. I've seen the whiteboard. You want to come and see this?
Okay.
Oh, that's true. I wasn't even paying attention. I was
Yeah.
looking at his shit up there.
Espionage.
I didn't bother to look. All right. Well, thank you all so much. Thank you for giving us your time. And anything else before we go?
Inner Geek, Huntington, Lexington, and Ashland. I was going to say, where am I now?
Ashland, named after the dry elbows.
Shut up, Chad.
Shut up, Chad. And on that horrible joke, thank you all so much. Have a good night. All right. Hopefully that didn't suck too bad, guys. We're recording.
What?
Wasn't that a great episode, James? What were you going to say?
You said
what?
right? You said what?
You say what one more time?
You said hold on, and I
What kind
said
of language
to
did they
what?
speak in what?
To what do you want me to hold on,
Wait.
Chad?
So you said to what?
To what? Hold on. You said hold on.
He kept saying to what?
I got him to do it.
You said twat. Twat did you
I
say?
hate you all so much.
Hear you.
Oh, I'm so happy that happened. I'm so
I figure it out.
Inbred Hilljacks, I hate you so much. That was our interview with the Greers. As you can tell by the title card that these people are going to edit in, we will be there. Come out the 7th. Check out Inner Geek.
You okay?
Have a good time. When you get there,
He's never had
to-
so much fun with twat in his life.
I would say when you get there, make sure that you do come see our table and come up to Chad and use his favorite term repeatedly toward him.
Yeah.
Call him that multiple times.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not going to hurt our feelings, is it? He's still laughing about.
Oh my God!
What are you laughing about?
He just went full tilt Muttley. He went full tilt Muttley. You never go full tilt Muttley.
No. All right. Thank you all so much. Thank you to the Greers, and have a wonderful day.
The hell.
Hey, we couldn't understand you.
He's gonna have a stroke.
Uh-huh.